Hey guys, Jay. Welcome back to the channel. So, guys, I got my new camera. What is it? What is it? How does it look? Does it look good? I'm still playing with it. A lot of things to do. Maybe my face is too red. Maybe there are a lot of things to. But it's sharp as far as I can tell. It's sharp. You can see every individual white hair that I've got on my head. It's kind of embarrassing. But anyway, guys, welcome back to another great stream. For those of you guys who didn't realize, I did a live stream. Sorry, yeah, actually, it was yesterday. I did a live stream yesterday. Sorry, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was, it was Friday. I did a live stream Friday with Toy Connections, great Toy Connections, great friend of the channel, of course, and we do a lot of collaborations together. And yeah, we were talking about Thundercats, and I think some of you guys might have seen that earlier this afternoon, like yesterday. It got posted and stuff. But in that, I talked about a giveaway which we're doing over at Toy Connections. So, guys, definitely head over to Toy Connections, give them a like and a follow, and definitely get in on that giveaway because we're giving away. I think it's one of three different. You have a choice of three different figures. You can take a look at the episode to see exactly which figures we're going to give away. Definitely head over to Toy Connections, give them a like and a follow, and tell them that Jay sent you. And of course, put down in the the live stream that we were on that Toy Connections is the best, so that you can get in on that giveaway. That's going to happen at a later date. But today, this weekend, this whole freaking last week, I can say freaking. Freaking is not a bad word, as far as I know. As far as I know, freaking is not yet a bad word. We shall find out soon. But yeah, this whole freaking last week was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, toy news out the wazoo. And I have a couple of special guests tonight who will definitely help us. Oh, geez. Keep touching the mic. Who will definitely help us to navigate this crazy situation. But before I bring them in, I just wanted to give an overview as to what tonight is about a little bit. So the past week has been nothing but Master Universe and Mattel and Hasbro news. Just crazy amounts of announcements, leaks, confirmations on leaks. Different toy channels getting the scoop on so many different things that what we need to be able to sit down and navigate what's been happening and what's kind of true, what's kind of not, and where we sit on certain things that are happening throughout the toy sphere, right now. And for whatever reason, this weekend, and this seemed to pop up about a month ago or so that I can recall. Um, it looks like certain brands are getting their prices slashed. Now, that's a good thing for consumers. Getting your prices slashed is a great thing for consumers, especially at the retail level. But it's not necessarily a great thing for the toy line. And you know what? I got a couple of great guests who can come in and help me navigate this whole situation because honestly, this is both exciting and scary at the same time, and I really need some help to do this. So, guys, please help me welcome good friends of the channel. First of all, one half of the great team over at Toy Habits. Let me introduce Michael. Michael, what's going on, my friend? How are you tonight?
Hey, what's up, Jay? I'm good. I'm good. Just the weekend was good. Happy to be on and sharing my thoughts. And yeah, I think it's going to be a fantastic discussion that we can all navigate together.
I'm excited. At the same time, it is a bit worrisome. There are
Yeah.
some telltale signs of trouble, and we can talk about financial difficulties with companies in and of themselves. But you know what? In terms of consumers, this is a good thing for the interim. We shall see where it heads. But we're not the two of us are not doing this alone. We have another half of Toy Habits on board. So guys, please help me welcome the Toy Sorceress, the other half of Toy Habits. How's it going, Toy Sorceress? Good to see you.
Oh, great. How are you doing today, Jay?
Not too bad. I'm doing great. You guys look great, and of course, you got some toys going on behind you. Always great to see that. Love it. Love
Flip
it.
my camera around today.
I can see Mum Ra up there. I can see the Ever Living at the
Oh yeah,
top.
I got to make room for new LJN figures. The
Oh,
Wave 6. It's
you
on
got
its
the LJ.
way.
Oh, you got the LJN set. That's so great. I couldn't do
Got
it
my vintage here.
as much as
No.
much as I love this little guy. As much as I love him, I just couldn't do it. They're just for me they're just too much money, right?
Yeah.
I'm all into the line. Unfortunately, except for the LJN, and you know what? I have a sneaking suspicion I have a sneaking suspicion I will be able to get them at a slightly lower cost if I wait long enough. Well, but we shall see. We shall see.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Here, let me pan over. You can see some vintage goodness.
Oh,
Here on the
such
shelf.
goodness. So great. Oh my gosh.
Very minty Jaga, I must add.
Absolutely.
by
He
the way.
looks amazing. So, guys, I don't know about you, but I saw this about a month ago. I saw something that was happening with this particular announcement about a month ago. But today,
Mhm.
they have put it front facing and right in the front of Hasbro Pulse. Today,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of us, truthfully, I mean, I'm into sports. I like sports. I love baseball, basketball up here in Canada. Obviously, it's where it's where I came from, even though nobody knows that. But you know, we as early as like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I think today, you know, first championship, NBA championship here in Canada. So you know, it was the fever was running high here in Canada, but
Yeah.
the NBA all starting lineup figures from Hasbro. I think if memory serves, and somebody correct me, if it was launched about 6 months ago or something close to that,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
and the price point was $49.99 a figure, right?
Yeah.
That's
Ridiculously high.
that's shocking. That is a shocking number for action figure collectors. But these aren't necessarily marketed towards action figure collectors, right? So today's announcement really blindsided me to no end,
Mhm.
and I'm shocked actually, particularly the timing is interesting as well.
Mhm.
And you know what, first of all, I'm gonna throw it to you guys. What were your initial reactions to the starting lineup when it was first announced, if it was even on your radar? Guys, take it away.
Yeah, so starting lineup was not on my radar, but I do recall collecting starting lineup as a kid. I loved the baseball figures. Not Wasn't too much of a basketball fan, but this was definitely not on my radar. Just to let people know, like, I wasn't a big sports fan growing up. I did like baseball, but I was a bowler and a gymnast. So it's like those are like the two polar opposite sports that typical sports fans would like. But I don't know. What about you, Toy Sorceress?
Yeah, they weren't on my radar at all. I mean, given the price point, and then there were a couple of really big names in there. I watch basketball with my husband. He loves the playoffs, and I'm a big Warriors fan. So shout out to having Steph Curry on there. But the other players are a little bit less well known, I guess, for me, just because I'm not like a super avid basketball fan. So I just didn't really pay much attention to the line to begin with, because given that $50 price point, and they didn't have like very robust, huge superstars. I mean, you got LeBron and Steph Curry, but the other ones are a little less. I mean, to me at least, right? A little less known. I just didn't really go in on it. And the baseball ones, I'm like, that might be kind of cool. And who knows if they come out with maybe some classic players and some new players, that'd be kind of neat. Kind of mix it up. But I remember the line. I didn't collect it as a kid though.
So this is the conundrum that we're kind of navigating here. Um, Obviously, uh, my earliest memories of action figures from real life people, in terms of sports stars, was from McFarlane. McFarlane, I think, in my opinion, I think McFarlane was the first one to actually start the whole line in terms of what's it called? They started with the NHL, obviously, because Todd McFarlane is Canadian. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know this. Todd McFarlane actually I believe he still does own a portion of the Edmonton Oilers. At one point, he was
wow.
the actual owner of the Edmonton Oilers, and now I think
Dang.
he's scaled that back a little bit.
Nice.
He's been very successful. It's an interesting story with him. He started out with Marvel Comics. Went on to co-create Image Comics. Pretty much did his own thing for a number of years with Todd's Toys, and then turned into McFarlane Toys, and then after that, Image Comics got absorbed into the DC imprint, and now look at them. It's just an absolute mega conglomerate for Todd, and what he's been able to do over these years. So I remember Todd McFarlane actually having those toys because a couple of my friends actually have an entire like huge rooms of these almost like collecting trading cards. They got them all displayed,
Yeah.
different poses. Not much posability on these figures at all. Like you could raise the arm for maybe to save a goal. You could like move the stick a little bit. Not much articulation at all. They were pretty much little statins. That's pretty much what they were. When did starting lineup come out, Michael? Because honestly, it was not even in my radar at all. I actually have no recollection of starting lineup. When did you get into the line?
Oh geez, this was this had to be in the 90s somewhere. Because yeah, I was watching baseball pretty heavily back then, and so like my favorite teams were the Red Sox and the Yankees, and so like I had my favorites of like Don Mattingly and Wade Boggs, and I kind of and Roger Clemens, and kind of the big players that were really famous back then, Nolan Ryan, and all those. So yeah, I mean, it's funny, like the way that I display my toys in here is pretty much exactly the way I displayed them as a kid. Looking back, like I had my starting lineup area, I had my mobile armored strike command, the mask area, I had my transformers area. So yeah, I mean the starting lineup, were definitely in my in my room, and plus I had a ton of baseball cards. I think I don't know if everybody collected baseball cards back then too.
It's just a foregone conclusion. Toy Sorceress, you had no recollection of starting lineup at all, I imagine.
Well, no, I do remember the line. I didn't collect it as a kid, but I remember the line. And I used to love like the stickers for my brother's baseball card set, and he would just toss them. So that's actually how I learned what all of the different mascots were for the different baseball teams, because I collected the stickers. They were really cute. And back in the 80s, they had really cool like mascots back then. But I didn't collect the starting lineup line, but I definitely remembered it. And when it was launched by Hasbro, it kind of, brought back a bit of nostalgia. I was like, oh yeah, I definitely remember those. But I don't know, the baseball ones were probably more in my memory, and I'm kind of surprised that they started with the basketball players. That's not like when you think of starting lineup, that wasn't like the quintessential line of like the sports line that you would think of. Like baseball was really the one. So it was a little surprising. Maybe that's an indicator of why they slashed the price in half.
That is an interesting point. But before I answer that one though, Red Foreman, thank you for the $5 super chat, my friend. I really appreciate it. Overwatch, Fortnite, NFTs. That's 2-year turnaround is really biting Hasbro in the butt. That's what's happening when you chase instead of making trends. Ooh, that is a very, very stinging statement. But you know what? It's hard to refute what's been going on with that. And it's interesting because mentioning Overwatch, Fortnite, and NFTs. I mean, Fortnite is Jazzware has had it for the longest time, and they pumped out as much as they could. And now, as Red Foreman's saying, to be able to pick that up a few years later, is it too little, too late? But you know what? We're gonna circle back to that because. And of course, Overwatch, another very interesting topic. It was during the right time, but again, gaming and this is the argument that we have a lot. Do kids play with toys, right? Do kids collect toys? It's an interesting little conundrum that we seem to be faced with. I think some people are definitely 100% collectors. The anime community loves collecting toys. And I think that's where they were hoping for. They were hoping to get the anime community. Sorry, keep touching that. Who also is who are also gamers, right? To try and get into that space. Yeah. Red Foreman, we are going to come back to that though.
1988, Jay. So I'm looking at Digital Diarrhea's comment, which I love the screen name. By the way, I just looked it up. It was 88, and they had 124 figure set, at least for the baseball lineup. So it was pretty prolific.
But that's why Toy Sorceress puts up a good point. It's interesting that they should be going for the NBA license rather than the baseball license, which was traditionally the bread and butter when you really dive deep enough. And I don't know the licensing aspect. Like I was in sports marketing for almost 8 years. Oh, so wow. I mean, like for me, having to deal with all the players associations, that was the biggest headache of everything, right? Because it's in a lot of ways it's a bit of a triple licensing situation. Not only do you have to deal with the NBA proper, you also have to deal with the actually in this case it's a 6-way issue. And you know what? I'm gonna summarize that, but I'm gonna put it really quickly. You'd have to deal with the Players Association. You have to deal with the NBA proper. Then you have to deal with the individual teams because they have their logos, their IPs, and then you have to deal. Well, that I think is also covered. Luckily, that I believe is covered under NBA. But there are certain things you do have to take into consideration on that, and then. To make it even doubly worse, for whatever reason, they decided to go ahead and talk to Nike and try and figure out some situation with them on. No, not only Nike, Reebok, and even Puma, Adidas, all these different sneaker companies, and really come to some sort of agreement to actually make these things happen. A crazy amount of things that are happening right now, and it's that really leads to the idea of why the $50 price point actually came into being, right? So. Absolutely crazy. You know what? Really quickly, guys. I've been flashing people's names on the screen, but let's just go and say hi to a few people here. Sendil, Krishnan, good to see you, my friend. Always great to see you. Action figure photography. What's going on, Tom? Those figures were doomed from the start. Ooh, easy there, brother. Easy. Ron Sarmiento says hi. I know, right? Emerald Knight Photo. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. JB's Toy Trunk. What up, everybody? Another wonderful, great channel, guys. If you haven't already, definitely check out JB's Toy Trunk, as well as Action Figure Photography and Emerald Knight Photo. Wonderful friends and wonderful channels all over the place. Sendel, Jay, we need a live stream with you in the mega. Dude, that would be too hot. Do you know how that thing doesn't breathe? Okay, as much as I would love to one day do. Because I know it's my thumbnail, right? But that thing, and it doesn't work with this beard anymore. It just doesn't. Like I'm looking like old man, like Jay. This is gonna have to come off first. Then I'm gonna have to figure out how to drill holes in that thing because it's not breathable. Like I wore that thing for like 5 minutes and I was sweating buckets. It was not a good scene.
Baby steps.
Oh no, just crazy. I got to put air conditioning in it somehow. I don't know. D Spirit blurry. It is. No, I thought it was pretty sharp. I think what happens is I have a bad buffer at the beginning, so maybe I'm blurry at the beginning, then it sharpens up. Anyway, lot to learn with this. Lot to learn with this new equipment. Andrew Davis, who's slashing prices? Let me know. Well, brother, we're going to talk all about that tonight. Oh, by the way, guys, I did want to thank. You know what? I might as well do. I didn't even think about it. But give me 1 second, guys. Since it was brought up, I do want to acknowledge. So first of all, there's that, and then I do want to give a huge shout out to all my patrons who helped me to get this equipment because without them, this wouldn't be possible. I want to give a huge shout out to Princess Cagley, Old IT Guy, Robert 33, Joseph Michaels, Gamer Bud, Manny at Passive Toy Shop, Jordan from Canada, Nolan, Master Versal Toy Hunter, John Mejia, Mitchell Bennett, Randall Guzieg, Schwartzmatt, Snell's World, Skyfall, Emma Toys Canada, Palpatine 1975, Darth Kumar, Smart Ham, Tony Olivero, Kevin Herbert, Efren Rivera, Rain Rivera, Rufus Roger, Nolan, the other Nolan, John Joker, Sir Clifton, Terrence St. John, Oscar Hernandez Toys, and Justin Huffman and Bella. Thank you guys so much for being able to help me get this new equipment because honestly, when my last camera died, that was just terrible. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody. Guys, if you are interested in helping out the channel, please check out my Patreon page or become a channel member here on YouTube. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, Andrew, we're definitely going to get to that. Ian J, what? You have a beer? Good one, brother. Good one.
Where you been, Ian?
I know, man. That was sharp. Picture was good. Thank you. It didn't break the camera. It's awesome. Rodimus Prime. Evening, Jay. Just building a Gundam kit. Nice. Gao Gai Gar. If anybody knows what that is, you guys are awesome. We can be friends. We can be friends if you know what Gao Gai Gar is. Frank Pryor. What's going on, brother? The Spirit. JB's Trolley Truck again. Salt and Pepper season look good. Anyway, it's all good. You know, we're in it together, JB. We're in it together. Marco Martinez. Wow, so glad I didn't pay full price for premium last week just to get that Serpentor. That's basically paywalled. I would have been super pissed. Yes. And I'm kind of, you know what? Another thing we can talk about truthfully is what's going on with their, and I call them these secret releases. You know, like I think truthfully, it is the time to become what's called a Hasbro Pulse member, because I do believe that the Hasbro Pulse members got a small window early access. So I think that they're the ones who figured it out first. But then it was gone. I think the regular ones pretty much disappeared that fast. Altedo's channel's in the house. Aaron Hardy's in the house. Pita Vita, what's going on, brother? Long time no see. Nolan, what's going on? Thanks to good to see you. Hi, Toy Sorceress. Good to see you, Nolan.
Hey, Nolan.
There it is. Hi, Michael. Hamlet strategy. Not sure that slashed prices are bad. What do you mean? Slashed prices are great. That's what we're talking about, Hamlet. We're talking about great.
Keep them coming.
You want to slash prices. That's what you want. Back at my blade. Jay, what's the good news? Good news for some, interesting for others. So we're going to talk all about that tonight. Toys of a Time Gone By. Good to see you, my friend. Master Versal Toy Hunter, King Panther. Wow, lots of people in the chat. I'm going to do my best, guys, but we're going to try and get going soon. Rolando's in the house. Healy and Dread. The Southern Cause. No action figure should be more than $20. Brother, there's always going to be an argument for that. There really is. But the reality is today, just having food on the table is, and I say this all the time, there are a lot of other things to be more, important than just toys, right? But the fact that toys are the price that they're at, food, in certain cases, meat is more expensive than toys. Think about that. That's crazy. Actually, vegetables are getting ridiculously overpriced. Like seriously. And as much as I love meat, we do have to eat vegetables once in a while, just once in a while. Nelson A is in the house.
Debatable.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking Moisty's in the house. D Spirit, Rolando. Oh, Daniel Heron. Thank you again so much for the $2 super sticker. Retro Jetpack Frogman is awesome, dude. You are on the nose. People have been receiving them. I'm glad you got yours, Daniel. Michael,
I'm still waiting for the FedEx guy today.
I haven't got my ship notification yet.
Like typed up and ready to go.
We're all in the same boat. None of us have received them. So Daniel, congratulations. Frankie Rivera, Red Foreman again. Missed my soup. No, I didn't. I got it. I did get it. It's just I've been talking a lot. Red. Just in case though, I'll just go really quickly back one more time, just because I sometimes after we're talking, things can get missed in the shuffle. Oh crap, I can't go back anymore. Anyway, I did get to it, Red. I did. I promise. And if I have another chance, we will go back. 1dar10. Jay! I love that name, 1dar10. Such a great name. Dartherian. There it is. Digital Diary. 88 or 89. Great name, brother. Awesome stuff. Okay, guys, we're gonna have to get started. But Randall's here. Backwoods is here. Baroness of Toys. What's going on? Hey, Jay, Michael, and Toy Sorceress. I think all figures have been priced too high lately, and prices need to be reevaluated because collectors cannot sustain paying $30 and up a figure. Up here, we're already there. We are already there. But yes, I do agree. And you know what? It's just going to cause people to decide not to collect multiple lines anymore, and that's tough. D Spirit, Southern Cause. Wow. Okay, I think I'm going to have to get started, guys. I'm going to take a look at one more just in case no, I haven't said to certain people. Okay, Making My Blades and House. Collecting Star Wars. Good to see you. Prison Phalanx, TF Thruster, Skyfall, Barry Allen. Good to see you. Zoran the Barbarian. Holy crap. Joseph K. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you guys for being here. Toy Gallery. Collecting Star Wars. Eric Daquilist. I'm sorry, Eric. Anybody seen the new colors on Snake Mountain Origins? Only one of us in this community has ever seen it, and it is being a closely guarded secret thanks to Mattel. And you know what? Jay called us out, eh? Did you hear that? You guys were there.
Oh, he
Jay
did. That was great.
Jay called me out on the spy camera thing. I was like, come on, Jay. Come on. You wanted to. No, but Jay's right. Jay's absolutely right. Yeah, integrity is important. And if you want to be invited back to someplace, you don't want to be biting the hand that feeds you. I get it. Mr. Cheeseburger is in the house. Brian Stradler, Miguel Gonzalez, good to see you. Edward Generezo. I hope I pronounced that right, Edward. My apologies if I didn't. Ian J again. Sleeping Collectibles is in the house. What's going on, Sleeping? Long time no see, brother. How you doing? Collecting Star Wars in the house. Steve-O! Where's Steve-O? I didn't see Steve-O. Mr. Home Arcade. D Spirit. El Tedness Channel. Justin Mohan. Man, you guys are awesome. Everybody's here. Danny Rodriguez. Marco Martinez. Brian Stadler. Snell's World. Baroness of Toys again. Aw, just make us jealous.
You got it before me.
Jealous. What the heck, Baroness? I see how it is. I get it. Okay, no problem. Red Foreman, how about BBTS already getting Metal Hawk? Ooh, I've already got mine shipped. Super fast turnaround from Revel. Nice. That's great. Snell's World, don't forget to like us. Thank you, Snell's World. And guys, on that note, don't forget to definitely check out Toy Habits on toyhabits.com on their website 100%, and of course on their YouTube channel, as well as all their social medias, guys. Do not forget that. Anybody else? Mr. Homer K, Master Versal Toy Hunter, Backwoods, good to see you. Old IT guy, there we go. What's going on? Old IT guy. Brian Stradler, good to see you. Snell's World, follow McFly Old Toys on IG. Well, there you go, brother. We're going to follow McFly's Toys on IG. Good one. That is a great that is a great handle. Honestly, that's a really good handle. Jabbar Robbins, Red Foreman, again with the super chat. I buy Mondo, Mafex, and SH Monster Arts. Those start at around $100. I'll pay for quality but accessories and over a cheap disappointment. Ouch. Okay, Red. You know what? That's a good one. And you know what? On that note, Junebug is in the house and RoboGeek28. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. It's amazing to see everybody. Of course, we are talking about. Thank you, Red. Thank you for that. Batman 1 and Chinovo. Okay, we are gonna move on, guys. Sorry about that. But yes, indeed. This is the discussion we're going to be having tonight. So, guys, let's get this started. Holy crap! Where'd we go? No.
I got excited because I heard the FedEx truck outside. He's got my frogmongers.
If you need to duck out, so just go. We'll.
No. My husband will get the door. It's all good. I just got excited.
You have such patience. I would not be able to do it. All right, so guys, if you haven't already heard, right here on the front of Hasbro Pulse's webpage, the starting lineup, action figure line for the All-Star 2023 Utah All-Star game has been slashed. The prices have been slashed from $49.99 all the way down to $29.99. That is a $20 savings, everybody. Holy crap. First of all, let's just all let that sink in for a second, and then I'm gonna put it to Michael and to Toy Sorceress. What happened, guys? What's going on here? Like, holy crap! I have no idea. This came as a big surprise for me. What about you guys?
Oh yeah, you never see price slashes this deep for a line that has just come out, and to have Hasbro do that right out of the gate. I have my theories on it, but that's a 40% decrease right off the bat. Like, usually when we have these discussions, we're talking about price increases. Like, it's going the opposite way.
Sorceress?
Oh, definitely. And especially because you mentioned, I guess, the 6 different entities that have to take a piece of the pie from these figures, that now it's like 40% less. Like, that's like, everyone's going to get like a little microcosm from the sales of these. And it's surprising that, not to say that they weren't overpriced before, but to slash it 40% off must really indicate that the line is not doing well. I don't know how else to sugarcoat it, but if it was doing well, they wouldn't have slashed it 40% off. So
it's pretty crazy. Snell's World, thank you for the $5 super chat, my friend. Jay, if Motu is moving out of box stores, then what does that mean? The Snake Mountain will be sold online. As far as we know, and Michael and Toy Sorcerers, you can chime in at any time. As far as we know, that was an announcement by Mattel proper. So because of that, I am still inclined to believe that they already had a partner in place, because you generally don't say things like that at a press event if it's not going to be true. I mean, that seems to be the case.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Snellsword. Really appreciate that. Man, I got to tell you, I was completely floored by this announcement. And you guys, this isn't a press release. You can literally go over to HasbroPulse.com right now, and they are there. As a matter of fact, let's have a look at some of these figures right now. So yeah, guys, they're all
pre-order, right?
These are all pre-ordered figures. But that brings up another question. You are absolutely right, Toy Sorcerer. What the heck? I didn't even realize that. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It's not even like they're out and they're sitting in a warehouse like taking up space. They're pre-orders.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't even get someone to pre-order the dang things.
But not only that, what happens to everybody's pre-orders from 6 months ago?
Oh, right.
What are you?
Oh my god! And they all paid almost double.
Full
You know?
price. They pay.
Yeah.
I think Steph Curry's figure at one point was sold out. I'm pretty
Wow.
sure at one point. And if that's the case, what happens? Did they get a rebate? Did they get an instant like what? What do you do? Oh my God, that is I didn't even realize that. Right? That's
Yeah.
absolutely because right here, if we look at it, it doesn't say anything about special special all-star price. And if they did, I'd be crying bloody murder. As somebody who pre-ordered it early. It just says celebrate the 73rd All-Star game, and then just the price slash, right? And then if we actually go into the look, $29.99 all across the board. It doesn't say you know, sometimes they have these sales, right, where it says slash and then the number. No, as far as I know, this is the price going forward. Michael, what's the fallout on this? Like seriously, Toys R Us, what? Like you just brought up a huge kind of worms right there. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm guessing that if they're going on sale before the pre-order, and I think somebody made a comment around it was Andy Hardy around Hasbro charging the price at time of shipping. They might have just adjusted it on the back end, but it's still like it's still, I think it still causes collectors anxiety because you have to go into your order history. You have to figure out, did they make the price adjustment or not? If they didn't and they hadn't got to it yet, now you got to make a phone call. And it's like a whole cascading effect.
The other thing that you got to be worried about is if you didn't hear this from me and you didn't hear it from you didn't hear about it from anybody, and then the order goes through and you didn't even realize that they had this price slash. What do you do? Sorry, Toy Source, I didn't want to cut you. What were you going to say?
Oh well, what I was going to say is if you check BBTS, they still have it for full price. As a matter of fact, they're $51.99. They got 4 of the figures still sold out. And if they are pre-orders, I'll give this tip to anyone who ordered on BBTS or Hasbro or even Entertainment Earth, which now they've adjusted their price to $29.99 because it hasn't shipped out yet. On HasbroPulse.com, you can cancel your order up until the time it actually ships. So they can just cancel their order and then reorder it at the cheaper price. And as a matter of fact, the same thing on Big Bad Toy Store. Just go in there and cancel your pre-order and just actually, I wouldn't reorder it from there because they haven't adjusted their prices. But if you go to Entertainment Earth, use Toy Habits coupon code, you'll get 10% off or free shipping. 10%
I didn't even realize. They
haven't adjusted. But if you scroll down, you'll see there's like 4 of the figures sold out.
I'm just saying, and what do you do? Because people have already bought it at this price, right? Because it says in stock for because many of these have already. Oh my God! Yeah. Like this is a huge issue because here, like obviously, Steph Curry sold out because he's back on pre-order, right? LeBron James is still in stock. Anyway, the Greek Freak is still is sold out. So is Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum. Yeah. Jamorant. Sorry, jeez Louise, where did that come from? They're all like seriously, and they were all at full price. What happens now? Right? Is this a retraction situation? Is there a rebate that can come from Hasbro proper? How do retailers support this? Because this is I've totally forgot about checking out the other retailers. Now I'm actually shocked. What is it? Did you mention that Entertainment Earth had done something?
Yeah, they adjusted their prices already. Yeah.
They have adjusted them to $29. But the great thing about Entertainment Earth is if you buy something and they ship it to you and the price drops anywhere, a regular online retailer within 14 days, they'll give you a price adjustment.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone knew that.
Plus 10% too.
They have a price guarantee. Who's that?
I just have to laugh. My Shiranui ended up on starting lineup. Like I'm pretty happy about that, but wow. How did she end up on the starting lineup? I know how she ended up on the starting lineup, but I mean, oh my God. She brings a huge skill set to the team. I mean, she can put you on fire. She can literally roast you on fire. Like don't mess with my Shiranui on the court. That's not gonna help you. But yes, definitely. I think that the Big Bad Toy Store situation is kind of shocking. And this does indeed bring up some very big questions. And I'm I'm completely floored at this point. And you know what? It's not like you can return them, right? Because people have already put them on display on their shelves and everything of that sort, right? So, like, wow, wow. Thank you for bringing that up, Toy Sources, because I had no inclination of actually going to any other sources, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, they must be corrected everywhere. No, apparently they are not corrected, and like, oh man, that's just scary to think of. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
crazy.
it's the same situation with like a lot of Super 7 Ultimates. I bought all of the TMNT latest wave with Scratch and Ace Duck and all that, and for full price, and they shipped to me, and a couple of weeks later they all went on on sale, like 40% off for the holidays, and I couldn't do anything about it. But it's like sometimes your timing is bad, but this is a complete price adjustment to
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
line.
Yeah.
So that's a different situation. It's not like a holiday sale or anything like that. But if you haven't got it shipped out to you, check your orders. If they're still on pre-order, I'd go in and just cancel your old pre-orders and reorder them if you want them, and save that money. Save your 40%.
I get that, or definitely something should, like, Hasbro proper should definitely be sending out notices and rebates at the very least. I don't understand.
That would be great.
Yeah.
If they would.
Do you have any insights
Yeah.
on this, Michael? Like something else you can like?
I have a theory, and I wanted to just gut check this with myself and just everyone here in the community. But and just to let everyone know, I know nothing about how licensing works, but I wonder if the NBA threw Hasbro a ton of money to mark these things down. And what that's signaling to me is that Hasbro got the price point very wrong, and they were way off base, and they had to do a correction. So like my theory is the NBA paid Hasbro a ton of money to mark these down, but I don't have any legs to stand on that theory. That was just something that I thought about.
Yeah, you know what? I see where you're coming from in terms of that. However, in my meager dealings with the NBA and with all sports related merchandising, I can almost go ahead and confidently say there's no way in hell.
Okay, that's what I wanted to gut check.
Yeah, just on my it's been a while. It's been 10 years, but okay, and I don't want to become another expert at something else, but
Right.
from what my experience was back in the day, okay, we will just go ahead and just cautiously say that if you've already paid the NBA something, they ain't going to give it back to you. You give anything to any of these sports companies, that money's not coming back. That's just not the way it works. Okay, you should feel privileged. You should feel privileged that you even got the chance to work with the NBA or the NFL or the NFLPA or any of these guys. Oh, and that's what I said. The problem is that this is like a 5-way split, right? That's the real problem, right? And if it was NBA proper, that's one thing, but you're not going to get that money back from the from the NBA PA and the NBA Players Association. You're not going to get that money back from Nike. You're no damn way are you going to get that money back from Nike. It's not going to happen. Adidas, Puma, any of these companies that they had to pay licenses to, like, you're not going to get any of that. You're not going to get any of that money back, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Okay, like, again, I don't want to just come off as an expert or talk like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
because I don't. Okay, but
I guess it also just comes down to, like, I think collectors nowadays are just trying to chase the lowest price that they can get, right? Because everything is so expensive, and I don't know if you've been in this situation too, where if you take the Masters of the Universe Sunman 3-pack, right? It was $50 at Target, and then like a few weeks later, it gets marked down 40%. You buy it at 50, you're going to buy that one at a discount and return the other one. It's a no-brainer. Yeah. But yeah, it's the whole price correction thing out of the blue. Like, I didn't know, like, was there an email sent out about this or any communication?
This is about as quiet as I've ever seen a announcement. Because as I said, as far as I know, it came out of nowhere. I've got press releases from multiple companies, right? Hasbro being one of them, and obviously they use different agencies for each different account. But as far as I know, No one's talking about this. Robo is not talking. The Foosh isn't talking about this, and they're one of the first ones who talked about starting lineup. Geek Dad Life hasn't talked about it. You haven't talked about it. I haven't talked about it. I just happened by random happenstance to be checking something for one of my orders on Mattel Creations, and boom, right in my face. I'm like, first thing that showed up was like, what the heck? Right, just in time for the All-Star game. And as far as I know, there are only 3 people, like I think barely 3 people on this roster that are in the All-Star game. So it kind of makes me wonder, like I'm talking about starters, right? Because it's interesting that it says starting lineup, but none of them are on the starting lineup, like except for, like, obviously the obvious main 3, right? But seriously, it's just a complete it's almost like they did this like under the radar and are going to deal with the fallout later. And I'm just like really taken aback. I've never seen anything quite like this, where a toy line has actually literally taken back a price. And first of all, let's talk about the implications of this. This is a 40%. Actually, I think it's closer to 42%. Something, it's crazy. It is, because 25.99 would be 50%, right? So this is only $5.
Yeah.
This is only $5 removed from 50% off. This is crazy. And knowing what I know about, how many people are in this pot, like there's a lot of hands in this thing, because they were very adamant about getting the shoe licenses. That was something that they touted being a really big focus on this. And there's been a lot of criticism from people who was like, look, I don't care about the freaking shoes. Give me another $10 off if you can get the shoe licenses off, right? A lot of people have actually gone on record as saying that, right? Because people would rather collect the figure rather than the shoes, right? Even though the shoes are a really big part of their identity, it's just one of these things. 5 years from now, they sign with somebody else. It's a completely different ball of wax. Like that happens often, right? Even their current jersey might change in another 5 to 10 years. It's just one of these things. It's a period of time where they show up at. But what is the fallout of this, guys? Like, does this open up the door for? And I could be saying something dangerous here. Does this open up the door, the possibility that some of their price hikes could actually be reevaluated in the future, especially considering that they're not exactly on the best financial legs right now? What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it out of the question. I think as collectors who are collecting multiple lines, we're feeling the pinch, and I'm wondering, as Hasbro is bringing on more lines to collect and more lines for people to get into, they're spreading all of their figures and all their money across all these lines. It's like something has to give. And so I wouldn't put it out of the question around just, future, maybe not future price slashes, but maybe just keeping prices at least consistent for the next 2 or 3 years, because we've seen a lot of increases in the last couple years. With Motu Origins, it's been about 20%. In Masterverse, it's been about 10%. Classified series, it's about 15%. And then also the Super 7 Ultimates, I remember them being $35 figures. They're now $50 figures. And when you get to move up to the larger ones, we're talking about $75 figures. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think, you're absolutely right. All of us toy collectors, the adult collectors, have varied interests across all these different lines. And if they keep hiking up the prices, we only have so much money to go around, and also so much shelf space. So, if the prices keep going up, we're just going to be that much pickier about what we're going to buy and how much we're going to buy. So I think, Hasbro and Mattel need to be very careful about kind of going over the line, I guess, so to speak, that they don't push us to a point where we turned off altogether and just stop collecting a line just because it's just unattainable. So there has to be a happy medium. I think Mattel has been doing a little bit better job sometimes in keeping some of their prices a little bit more even keel over the last couple of years. I know they've been slowly going up, but like the classified figures have gone up quite quickly. And they've got all these different tiers of kind of deluxe figures that push the envelope in terms of pricing. But these starting lineup figures were just out the gate at $49 was ridiculously high. So they got to be careful with that. And then I just wanted to answer a question for Andrew Davis in the chat. The code for Entertainment Earth is Toy Habits. In case anyone's wondering out there, you get 10% off anything in stock and free shipping over $39. But Andrew asked the question.
What is it again? What is it again? I'll put the code in the in the chat.
If you want to shop for something over on Entertainment Earth, you can put in the coupon code Toy Habits, and you get 10% off anything in stock, and also free shipping on orders $39 or up.
Yep.
And you can also access that if you go to our website. There's a little banner at the top in case you forget the coupon code, but it's the name of our site. There's a banner on the top, and if you enter in through that banner,
I forget it all the time.
Obviously,
it's Toy Habits.
It's such a forgettable thing. I mean.
It's wonderful because I did not pre-order the LGN Mumra when it came out, and it sold out on Entertainment Earth. I missed out on him, and then they just came in stock this week, and I ordered it in stock, and I got 10% off Mumra, which was off the $75
money.
I was actually glad I didn't pre-order him because I used our coupon code.
That's crazy. Red Foreman mentions none of the current players aren't under the NBA contract, so Hasbro would have to work out individual contracts with each individual player, like Magic or Jordan. None. I think he means non-current players. I think that's what he's saying. So like Magic Johnson, Jordan, all the really Hall of Famers that people would love to collect. Dark Aeon says most adult collectors want more classic players. They don't care for this generation players too much. There is the other concern. So today's current generation, even though it might appeal to diehard sports fans who are in their 40s and 50s, the reality is that today's kids and today's youth, as we're seeing, and it's unfortunate, not a lot of them are actually into toys or collecting. Right now, there is a case to be made that, as I said earlier, anime and certain toy and certain cartoon fans are into collecting figures, but that's a very specific market. They're into SH Figure Arts, they're into Mezco, they're into all these other anime type of figures, right? But in terms of people who are actually marketing, who are actually buying figures today, there's the situation. Yeah. Are these available in store? Do you guys know? Because I wasn't. Did Big Box actually pick this up? I don't believe they did.
I don't know, because I did see a comment about one of the figures being a peg warmer. So like from somebody in the chat. So I'm thinking maybe they saw it somewhere, but I don't really know. So whoever made that comment, can you just confirm? I haven't seen these. I haven't seen these in the store at all.
Sorry, go ahead, Toy Store.
I mean, I was just going to say, well, here in the States, I mean, I know Michael and I frequent, Target and Walmart all the time, and I've got multiple Targets by me. I haven't seen any of the starting lineup there, and I don't know if maybe it's at a different retailer, maybe on the West Coast or maybe up in Canada, maybe Toys R Us. I don't know. We don't have them anymore. I miss them dearly. But yeah, I haven't seen them out on the shelves here.
Yeah, we haven't seen. I personally have not seen any of the starting lineup figures in Toys R Us, and usually we would be lucky enough to get a few of those here. I thought I saw that too, the peg warming as well. Let me just give me one.
It was Rodimus Prime 1982.
Oh,
he said LeBron will be a peg warmer because he's a jerk.
Oh, that's what he said. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, I live in SoCal, and I'm definitely a Warriors fan. I'm not
That's hilarious. I mean, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I should be a Warriors fan, but I just don't watch basketball. So actually, my parents do. They actually might be tuning in tonight. So, hey, Mom and Dad.
All right, yeah. I said LeBron will be a peg worm because he's a jerk. Okay. That is so funny. Oh my gosh.
No,
let's take a couple of comments actually. D Spirit says, if you see dramatic prices reductions on the vintage collection, people will people pull their pre-orders? Is it possible? Sounds like a mess. People seem to be really upset with delays on pre-orders. Hopefully they fix that first. This is a slippery slope. Mm-hmm. This is a very, very slippery slope. I mean, if Hasbro has decided to show their hand and say, yeah, there is wiggle room here to actually, move down. Like, what are the implications of that, guys?
Ooh, Yeah, it's funny that just popped into my mind. If they're showing that they're willing to reduce the prices if things aren't selling, nobody's going to pre-order anymore, and maybe that will cause them to maybe drop the price $1 or $2. I mean, I don't think they'll do that, but again, like, they're setting a precedent, and it is a slippery slope for them to do this. And like, for such a, I mean, so I know Hasbro and Mattel, they have huge market research divisions. And so these market research divisions, they figure out pricing. How could they have gotten the pricing so wrong on these particular batch of figures and series? Like, I feel like the smaller vintage collection Star Wars figures and the Black Series figures, they're probably around like a good enough price point, and they shouldn't go beyond that, because we'll be entering into Super 7 territory pretty soon, which a lot of people give Super 7 flack for how expensive their figures are, but when you're talking about mass produced figures like Hasbro and Mattel coming closer to what Super 7 prices is, like, what is that telling you?
Yeah. And you got to also think about, do they have room to lower the prices and then move more merchandise? Ultimately, is that going to help them have a better profit margin than producing all these figures that are either going to sit around in a warehouse or warm pegs, and then have to ultimately get slashed down to clearance prices because they turned people off and they didn't want to collect the line because it was too expensive to start. And then when things are sitting around on a peg for so long, even if you have started collecting it, I think the excitement about the line wears on you, and you're like, oh, and you're kind of over it. If they priced it properly to come out with at like a competitively fair price, you might get more people excited in the line to start collecting from the get-go, and then keep them there, for the longevity of the line. So there's a fine line there that I think would really help their business model profit better, maybe not to be as greedy, and maybe get a little bit lower to their price point, that they can still make a profit but allow people to get interested in a line and collecting it. So that ultimately might be a better bottom line for Hasbro and Mattel in terms of their corporate health and profits and the like, instead of trying to get as much squeeze every penny out of a collector as they can out of the gate. I don't think it's a great strategy.
Yeah, now that brings up another question, because we know that that an announcement was made not even 2 weeks ago that Hasbro's forecast is not good, and I made mention of it
Exactly.
about a week ago that they are slashing 15% of the workforce.
Yep.
All right, that is not good. Right,
Exactly.
and I even got to the point where I was kind of like, you know what, I would actually take losing a line. You know what I mean, in terms of like a few figures and a wave or whatever, if it meant keeping some people's jobs, because those are people's livelihoods.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I personally feel very strongly about that. And something like this, a move like this, really does put into question whether or not it's even whether or not that is a possibility, right? Can we splash prices on these figures to sell more of them, right? And then basically keep most of these jobs, or is this an indication that they really are at the point where they have to even slash prices? It's without knowing the inside workings of Hasbro, it's such a really difficult thing to answer. And but this really does beg the question, have they priced themselves so far out of the market on certain lines that now they have to reevaluate what they're doing? Because up here in Canada, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers right now are $45 each. Okay.
Wow.
Now that equates to, I believe, 39 no, I believe, wait, hold on. 49, yeah, I believe that's $30 US, or $34, so $36 US, 36 to 30. Again, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but it's in and around $35. Is a Power Ranger $35 in the US right now, guys? Do you know?
No,
I think we can
believe
find out.
they're not. I think they're like probably $25 or something like that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm an idiot. Why don't we just take a look at Hasbro Pulse? I mean, that's where they are, right? So let's just check out Power Rangers. Well, here's one right here. $22.99.
Yeah.
Right. That is an insane markup. Okay. Because if retail price is $22.99 in the US, that is not what it should be at Toys R Us in Canada. At best, well, even though the slight, even with slightly more on the top, and I can understand, to a certain degree, 22.99. Hey, I already did it. So it should be $30. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's where I would understand. Even 35
Mhm.
is sort of okay for Canadian collectors, but we're basically at $45. We're basically at $40 right now, $40 to $45, which to me is
Isn't
just ridiculous.
isn't that what happened to, like, I guess if you want to talk about this on a much bigger scale, like this happened with the Eternia pre-order too, right? Like the US and
Mhm.
Canada exchange rates did
So,
not match up, right?
something is wrong with Mattel
Mhm.
Creations exchange rate. There's something actually wrong. Now, people have mentioned that if you look at the top of the page, all right, if you go to Mattel Creations and right here at the top of the page, if you're Canadian, right, it says right here, enjoy $13 standard shipping and $13 standard and $26 express shipping on all orders. Here's the problem with that. Now they're saying that that's inclusive of duties and taxes. Okay, so that's all. That's usually a great thing because it's always Russian roulette whenever we purchase from down south. It's always the case because once it hits the border, anything can happen. So if they've already paid for duties and taxes, then we're good. But the problem being is that in my mind, this tells me that it's $13 or $26 for the shipping, right? And that's what should be on top. It shouldn't be baked into the price, and then on top of it, you pay another $13. That's ridiculous. Because I went through the whole process. This is not
Yeah.
baked into the price. This is after the fact, right?
Dude.
So
Yeah.
what they did with Eternia, what they did with all our pricing going forward, whatever's going on with their exchange rate calculator is broken, right? And here's the thing: it's led me and many other collectors to not order through the Canadian version of the site, but to order to the US version of the site, and then use different channels to get them up here. It's just ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
it's cheaper to order it in US funds,
hmm
pay the exchange rate and then have somebody else bring it up for you. That's just it's ridiculous. It's
Mhm.
absolutely it's
And
moronic.
like, how ridiculous is it that you have to do that and have to go through those hoops just to get something at a fair price?
Yeah.
This is the thing.
That's
But you know what?
unfortunate.
In many ways, Canadians have always had a bit of the short stick in terms of like ordering things from the US. Even though, and a lot of people will say things like this. There's what they call free trade and blah blah blah. That's not how that works. Free trade does not go to like single quantity items. That is not how that works. King Panther says, "Happy Sunday, everybody." Mr. J, I received my front. Dude, you're awesome. You are awesome. Congratulations. Uh, Adam Hamlet, they need to cut another $15 for me to even consider these starting lineup figures. Whoa. I think I see where that's coming from. At $29.99, it really is. It's not that bad. I mean, considering all the licensing that they have to go through, in my opinion, I think that's actually a pretty fair price. But they started out at $49.99, and now people are just basically upset, right? So I can see where Adam's coming from. But I think that's too much. What do you guys think? I mean, like, what would that be? $15, basically.
Yeah. That's nothing. But
That's
I
like
mean,
that's like a
considering that I have to pay all. Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh,
no, no,
I go ahead.
it's all you. It's all you.
I was just going to say, considering they have to pay all those licenses, you got to expect that the figures are going to cost a bit more money. Same thing with like Marvel Legends, because they do
Mm.
have to pay licensing fee for it. But that begs the question, saying that like GI Joe figures should be much cheaper because that's a direct license through Hasbro. That's their own property. And then I'm not even going to go down the road of plastic-free packaging, saving them money, so they have another reason to cut their costs a little further. But hey, hint out there, Hasbro, maybe take a lesson and start peeling your prices back a little bit, and maybe they'll have healthier profits. But I wouldn't expect these to go down much further because, like you said, there's so many people that have to be paid off from these figures that when you get down to it, like how much is left for the actual toy company.
Yeah, but as we all know, it literally can go lower. It's just that they'll be sold at different places. Red
Oh
Foreman.
yeah,
Also, anyone pre-order Metal Hawk from B? Oh no, I already read that. Sorry.
that's okay.
I highlighted. Okay. Oh, here we go. Red Foreman. Starting lineup should be for the greats like Jordan, Magic, and Larry Bird. And you know what? Ironically, I
Mhm.
believe that if you were just to put them in regular jerseys, no affiliations, you could get them at a much cheaper price just by licensing each individual player. But I think everyone really is in love with them in Bulls, in love with them in LA Lakers, in love with them in Boston Celtics. I think if you take that away, right, you lose that special aspect of that. Now, I don't know what happens if the NBA PA is involved at that level anymore, because they're retired, right? I don't know how that works any longer. I think it would actually be slightly cheaper. But just because of the name, it commands huge prices regardless. Like anything Jordan sells, like Jordan sneakers are huge. Would you guys pay, like, knowing these legendary figures? What price point would be I guess fair for those guys through starting lineup?
So I mean, I feel like these figures are equivalent to Star Wars Black Series figures. They're equivalent to G.I. Joe Classified Series figures. And actually, they might not be as equivalent because they don't come with all the accessories.
No.
And so I think
Yeah.
$24.99 would be the max that I would pay for something like this. And I'd buy the baseball legends instead of the basketball ones, because that's what my memories were for a kid. And so if they have a baseball line, I'd probably buy a few.
So
I was going to say,
no, go ahead.
I was going to say probably like $19.99 is like a total sweet spot for these, because they don't come with very many accessories. I mean, you have the ball, and I guess there's supposedly a flight stand that comes with it. But that's a generic tooling that can be used on every single figure. So there's not extra money put into that. And so is the ball. So that's not extra tooling or work or design that has to go into it. So, the extras that they come with should not add much to the price. And I think, $20 a figure would be more than adequate, and they would probably sell a ton of them at that price point.
Yeah.
But what about these legendary figures? Like a Jordan, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, SH Figurettes does have a Michael Jordan figure coming out. I think Hot Toys. Well, Hot Toys is a completely different ball of wax, but SH
I don't even get Michael's.
I know, right?
Well,
Basically,
that would
think
actually be an opportunity to do something kind of cool, like maybe retro packaging for it, or some kind of special packaging, like it's a legend, of Hall of Fame, blah blah blah, something, and then you can tack on an extra like $5 or $10 if they wanted to, because it's like one of those legendary figures. So that would actually give them maybe $29 for one of those, Jordan, Bird, Magic Johnson, one of those guys, and then keep the baseline, today's figures at like $20. I think that would work great, and maybe differentiate the packaging for them.
Yeah. I like the retro packaging idea, but I guess when you boil it down, it's still a physical representation of a person at no matter what, no matter what price point it is. It's going to cost them the same amount to manufacture something that looks like Michael Jordan, or something that looks like Steph Curry. So I guess you're paying for the
of course,
for the upcharge of like the legend status, and maybe this is where they're taking some liberties of like, oh, this person is more famous, so we're just going to charge people more for it.
Gotcha. And people will pay. There's the big difference though. Like I think that, forgive me and nobody shoot me, okay, but I think that between LeBron James and Michael Jordan, most people are going to go for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And again, don't shoot me, okay? Seriously, please don't. Okay, like, we can talk about Steph Curry versus Jordan. We can talk about LeBron versus Jordan. We can talk about all that outside of today's discussion, because honestly, we're just talking about toys. Seriously, guys. Supposed to be a wave of football players coming. Ouch. Okay, so now we got to ask, what price point do you think a football license would actually end up on, knowing now what we know with the NBA license, guys?
Good.
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I would expect them, if they're dropping the price of these to $29.99, like I would think they would want to keep the line consistent, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, at some similar price point. So yeah, I mean, if they're dropping them to $29.99, I would expect future lines like football and baseball to be $29.99 as well. I don't know. That's just my thought process based on zero information and not knowing about licensing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't know if those are going to come with any additional accessories, because you got a helmet, bat, maybe a baseball cap, and then some kind of probably like a batter of football. But in any case, that's kind of minimal. So keeping that price point the same across the whole line would definitely make sense. Although I don't know if maybe an NBA license is more expensive than an NFL license, or if they're the same, or what those costs are involved, and the different sponsors and all that kind of stuff. But probably getting in there and working out an even price across the board would make total sense.
We got another super chat from Red Foreman. Once again, thank you so much, Red Foreman. Really appreciate it. Mattel charges more so they can afford Dragon Glass to fight off from the White Walkers once they go past the wall. What the heck, dude? Oh my goodness. Holy crap. Who did the toys for Game of Thrones? Has anybody actually done that? I thought NECA would have done them by now. I'm pretty sure somebody's done. At least I know I've seen some stanchions. I know I've seen some. I don't think I've ever seen any action figures though. So I've seen stanchions, but I haven't seen any action figures. I don't know how to respond. Guys, you want to take a stab at that one? That one caught me off my guard. That was just funny.
Pass.
Thank you, Red Foreman. That was funny. Oh, and Red, by the way, I did not miss your super chat. I did answer it a while back. Overwatch, Fortnite, NFTs, the 2-year turnaround. Really is biting Hasbro in the butt. That's what happens when you chase instead of making trends. We did cover that one actually, Red. Chinova says, "Hey." Oh, I love that. I love that. Great movie, by the way. That thumbnail. Not going to talk about it, but great movie. Silver K. Oh God, here we go again. Tell us how much better Steph is than LeBron. Didn't we just say we're going to avoid that? We just said we were going to avoid that. I'm going to move on, Kayla. Thank you. Digital Diarrhea. No, I'm going to wait until the starting lineup curling team comes out. You're going to have some big fans up here in Canada. Yes, indeed, Digital Diarrhea. Wow. He's bringing the zinger. They're bringing the zingers tonight, man. Holy crap! That one's went right past my head. King Panther, Michael and Toy Sorceress is. You know what? I'm not gonna. You can ask that a little later. Sorry, guys. D Spirit, lower. I didn't even realize I was there. Lower the price are good, but how do you reconcile those who already spent a ton of the exact same figure to be? Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It really is. Like our rebates, like they've done this in the past. Rebates are possible, right? Coupons, $1 $10.
Where has it ever worked for anyone? No.
I know people have done it. People have used it a bunch of times. Yeah, it's actually. I don't know. I think it's a one-time use on your account only, though. Yeah. I believe that was the way it was. Rodimus Prime. Yeah, that was the one. LeBron James is the peg warmer right now. Speaking moistly, I'm a huge basketball fan. Oh, great. Played point guard in college. Ride the pine. There you go, my friend. So how do you feel about these in particular? That would be great. Southern Cause. Todd McFarlane got famous creating. Yes, he did the Spawn comics for Image Comics, which he was a part owner of. Emerald Knight had a few basketball and baseball, but football was my jam. So I'm thinking that's in terms of the McFarlane line. Great stuff. Backwoods. Make Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Nair Board, those guys, and I'd buy some. Again, the legends are always going to be the ones that sell out the most. I think when LeBron finally retires, he's probably going to get to that status. Same thing with Steph Curry, but for now, yeah, those are the ones that are guaranteed sellers and really should have been included in the line somewhere. Randall, but I think that was their plan. I think what do you think? Would Wave 2 guys? Would Wave 2 have been more of a Legends line? What do you guys think?
I don't like.
Got it.
I mean the players are so deep with all of these teams. It's like I can't see them doing. Maybe the Legends line is going to come down the line after they've maybe built out some of the teams. Because actually, I mean, this might be a question for everybody. Like, if you do collect these, do you collect by team? Do you collect by name? By figure? Like, I don't know. So like, I'm not a huge sports guy, so that'd be interesting to see what people do with these figures. But yeah, I would expect the Legends to come a lot further down, or maybe be their own subline.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like, Wave 2. If you're a big Steph Curry fan, wouldn't you want the Splash Brothers? You're going to want Klay Thompson to come out in Wave 2. I don't know who else is big on the Laker team, but you're probably going to want some like teammates to come out to go with if you're collecting this line to go with the figures you already have. So yeah, I think the Legends would probably be like a separate wave, or maybe kind of like a separate line, within the starting lineup, but just a separate piece of that. And they did go pretty deep with the people that they chose, all these players to start with. So I don't know that they backtrack that way, but you never know, because Hasbro does learn their lesson. Take a look at GI Joe when it first came out. It was very futuristic. It looked like like the video game. All the Real American Hero collectors from the '80s were a little bit turned off, and they course corrected. And now we're getting all these really great classic figures. So you never know. They may do the same thing, kind of learn their lesson and see what sells and what doesn't, and maybe kind of change course. So time will tell.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. It's really interesting because again, I look at some of these legends, like Roger Clemens, like Nolan Ryan, like any of these guys, Wayne Gretzky, obviously all the stars we just talked about, Michael Jordan, Michael Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. These are guys who are superheroes to some people, right? I've always said that the logos they wear are superhero logos. You know what I mean? Like these are actual superheroes in real life, right? We can definitely, I think a lot of us can agree on that. And I don't think that these, Hall of Famers will ever lose their luster in certain situations, right? And then there's the argument that LeBron is better than Jordan, right? What's it called? Sid the Kid is better than Wayne Gretzky. All these crazy arguments on that line. But that's actually what keeps these things going, right? The comparisons and everything like that. So releasing these types of figures would be interesting on that level. But it's hard to see whether or not this is even going to go forward now. It's an interesting take that they took, and interesting. They tried it again, right? Because this was actually a successful line to a certain degree in the '90s. So it's interesting that the line got canceled and then has been brought back. So yeah, very 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 interesting take on these. Randall Gazik says, sorry, before I do that, what the heck am I doing? I saw a super. There we are. No, that's Red Foreman again. Hold on. There it is. Following my Fly Toys on IG. Great name, by the way. $5 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate it. I really like the Super 7 Simpsons, but I can't justify them at $55 each. Hopefully that they go on sale in the future. You know what? Michael's got his Mo. Michael's got his Mo. Oh,
I know. I've been going back and forth in my head about this line, and so the price point is big, but I'm just collecting some of the classic figures, not everything in this line. So I tend to be a completist, and with this Simpsons line, I'm not going to do it. But I feel you on the $55 price point.
It's interesting you should say that. There are a bunch of reviews right now on the line, and people are mostly happy with them. In terms of articulation, in terms of the sculpt. But no matter what, that $55 price tag is always going to be a bit of a stinger. But you collect what you love at the end of the day. That's really what it boils down to. Digital diarrhea. I heard that the lower cost, no one includes digital goods. No idea what those were though. You know what? At the end of the day, you're buying something which is not really real, though, right? I think that's really that is a question in and of itself. Like, should you buy things that aren't real? Technically you can say fiat currency is not real either. I mean, like, we're dealing with that now. I mean, like, you like dollar bills are not made of gold. You know what I mean? Like, there's just there's so many questions up in the air. It's we live in a very strange time, people. We live in a very, very strange time. Yep. But you know what? We can talk about that all day long so we're not going to get into that. Dark Aeons. Most adult collectors want classic players. They don't want from this generation of players too much. Again, that's another argument to be made. It's hard to say. Red Foreman, because there are diehard fans out there. None of the current players aren't under NBA. Okay, no, actually, I did read that comment earlier. JB's Toy Truck. Star Wars and Marvel's hikes have been tough to deal with, but for me, it helps to control what I really want and what I think I want. That's a really good point, actually. Have you guys come into situations where the price has really made you think twice?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think I just shared the example with the Simpsons line. But yeah, I mean, if the price points are going to be starting to go up on these figures, to get into the $30-$35 range for just a normal mass-produced figure by a major toy corporation, yeah, I'll definitely rethink, collecting the entire line, which I love to do, but when you're spread over 7 or 8 lines, it's really hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you gotta, again, we only have so much money to spend on luxury items, which are toys. Obviously, they're not needs, they're wants. And we got to pick and choose, how much we're willing to spend on something. Do we really, really want it, or do you want to be completist in the line? And if it gets to be too high, then you start to be much more discriminating about what you're going to purchase. And again, running out of real estate. So shelf space is at a premium. You got to save that for the things you really, really want, not something you're going to look at and throw in a tote, a couple days after you get it. So 35 bucks a figure, it ain't worth it.
Oh, the shipping notices for Thundercat, Thunder Tank has just.
I was just about to say.
Oh my God! Yes, God. They're you guys are in for a couple of good articles, because this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be absolutely crazy.
Like, would I love a Thunder Tank? Yes. Am I gonna buy one? No.
Marco Martinez. That's true. That's the real. You just said it. The real estate. Marco Martinez. Hasbro Plus premium members also getting slashed. No, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be. They wouldn't do that at all. The idea of premium membership is just that. Like, you get to go to Costco to save on the pricing. I think that was the whole incentive of that particular gimmick. Greg Archer. Sorry guys. If manufacturing really moves completely to Vietnam, I will never buy anything, as they make this after the Sky Striker 2-pack cheapo O-ring figure. That's I have no insight on that. I wouldn't know whether it's better Vietnam or whether it's better in China proper. I have no idea. So Greg, if you have some inside knowledge, please share it. That's kind of crazy.
I wouldn't have insight on that, but we did review the Sky Striker very extensively. I did a massive review on our site. So head to toe, if you want to check out the Sky Striker, all the figures, everything about it, how to put the thing together, unboxing, how everything works, go to toyhabits.com. But I think, Greg, the product was spectacular. They weren't cheapo. The O-ring figures were great. The quality of the plane is spectacular. The decals are fantastic. And as a matter of fact, most of the decals on there were actually just painted onto the jet itself. And the blast effects were just, the whole thing blew my mind. Super, super proud of Hasbro for how great they did with the Sky Striker. So on that note, check out the review. It's fantastic. If they keep putting out product like that, I'll keep buying it. That's one thing I gotta say. I don't know what country it was manufactured in, but they knocked it out of the park with that one. They really did.
There you go, Greg. Yeah. there you go. I guess we can end on that. Good night, everyone. I'm just kidding. Aaron Hardy. Also, keep in mind, Toys R Us charges more. Power Rangers is $34.99 at Toy Snowman. Yes. I understand that, Aaron. I totally get that. I'm just saying that a big box retailer charging a price, right? And again, it's called MSRP for a reason. The retailers can charge whatever they want, and to me, toys like, I'm gonna have an entire episode coming up about Toys R Us, where they got to start watching out. They really do, like up here in Canada for sure, because we might lose them. I'm not even joking about that right now. D Spirit, if Toys R Us was still around, maybe, just maybe, the large volume that they would buy would keep the prices down across. But this is guys, you can probably answer this better than I can. It is one of the reasons why toys are so expensive, because one of the major retailers, actually two and more of the retailers for toys, has actually just dropped off the map. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it definitely can't help. So yeah, I mean, the less competition you have and the less people to keep prices down, prices are going to go up. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. On that note, though, I mean, Toys R Us, they did generally charge higher for them. And I know that a lot of
Yeah.
people just engaged in showrooming behavior, which is just, you can feel the toy and look at it in Toys R Us, and then you buy it online somewhere else.
Yeah. I think the advantage, retailers like Walmart and Target have is that you might go in to Target to maybe you're looking for a toy or something like that, but then you'll remember, I need milk, I need some eggs, I need some bread. Let me go look at this T-shirt. You'll buy other stuff while you're in the store, even if you don't find that toy that you're looking for. But if you go to Toys R Us and they don't have that action figure you're looking for, you may not purchase something else. So I think Target and Walmart have a heads up that they could charge a little less than just specialty toy retailers, because you're going to spend money in their store no matter what, most of the time before you walk out the door.
It's that Costco trap. It's that Costco trap.
Yeah.
You're there you go in for one thing, and then you pass by the aisle and you see something. You're like, wait, I could use that. I could actually, right? In Toys, it happens to me all the time. Toys R Us, I pass by the Star Wars aisle. I'm like, I'll go check that, because I went in there for a Master Universe figure, but I go to the Star Wars aisle anyway. I'm like, oh crap, the new Bad Batch figure just came out. What the hell? Right? So then I pick that up, and then inevitably I go past the Transformers aisle. I'm like, oh god, Dex needs this, so I got to pick that up. And then of course I go past the WWE aisle. I see a Chase figure. I'm like, this is going to cost me a mint by the time I get out of here. Like, that's just the trap that they made. And you know what? It works. It really does work. As long as the price is right. That's actually a really big thing.
Yep.
Dave Yarbird, Hasbro's in trouble. Raising prices on things that they sell, slashing on things that they don't, cutting corners on QC, and mass layoffs. These are all major red flags. Sell your stock if you have it. Easy there, Dave. Easy.
Wow.
Easy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Michael. Go.
I think the layoffs are a sign of the times. Like, you can see layoffs in tech like running rampant. Like, I've never seen them before. Like, I work in the tech industry, and I think a function of it is the economy to some extent. But yeah, I mean, there is something to say about the pricing that these companies are engaging in, and especially in this economy, like, people are not going to be willing to shell out as much money as they could maybe 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, for action figures that they love. And so I think that brings up the point about just kind of limiting yourself to the stuff that you like and the stuff that you love, and just to help to keep the cost down and just keep you interested in the line.
Yeah. Again, what we touched on before, there's probably a line that people are willing to pay to get their action figures. And if it crosses that line, they may stop collecting that line altogether, or just be super picky about what they're going to pick up, and just kind of take only a couple of them. So it will cost them sales if they go too high. They need to find a happy medium where consumers are still going to buy their products and they still make a profit. So that all has to be taken into account if they want to keep the different toy lines healthy and going.
RoboGeek says, I'd buy Michael Jordan. I'm not even a sports fan. There is something magical about that, right? There is something magical about certain. Again, they're superheroes to people, right? They really are. Jordan is the GOAT. Sorry, oh man, we're gonna have this is not good. This is not good. Oh, here we go. Jordan is the emperor. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? We're gonna have to. This is what happens. This is what happens, right? But Matt's Collectibles, I just pre-ordered my stuff. Man, there you go. Right at the price. If the price is right, this is just right there. If the price is right, Matt, were you even thinking about it before the price drop? Like, let's let us know. Like, that's just crazy. Speaking moistly, most people that collect action figures are older, so they would prefer 90s basketball players to modern ones. Again, this is something we just have to keep in mind. And you know what? As Michael, as a statistician, right? As somebody who looks at these things, how could they get this wrong? What could have been the factor to really indicate that the price just that didn't make any sense?
It's so funny because every time I see something like this, there's a track that runs in my mind. I'm like, this must have been a bad result of a really bad focus group. So I don't know. I mean, but supposedly, like, I do research for a living, and pricing research there's a specific methodology to figuring out pricing research, and a lot of these companies do it. And yeah, I really don't know. I mean, it could be that Hasbro got the answer they needed from the community, or representative sample of collectors that they were doing their pricing research with, and maybe they just couldn't stomach the price of maybe $24.99 that everybody wanted to pay. Plus, I don't know how licensing works, but if they had to pay all this other stuff on top of it and all these other companies, then I guess that price adds up. And maybe the $29.99 is just the bottom of the barrel price that they can get away with. And so maybe they tried at a higher price, didn't work, and now they're course correcting, which is fine. I mean, good on them for course correcting and just not leaving it at $50 a figure.
I'm as you know, like I said, I don't profess to be an expert. I'm the complete opposite. I am not an expert, but I have had small dealings with I was a designer. I wasn't somebody who was in the meetings to negotiate for any of these prices, but I do know for a fact that we had to adhere very, very closely to both what the NBA and what the NBA PA had to say. And they were always in the meetings, and you know what, they would knock down anything they didn't think was appropriate for the brand. And because of that, I just have to believe that, and because again, they were both different licenses. Like you had to pay for both, right? So for me, most of I think the $50 price point, I think mostly, just as Toy Sorcerer said, really comes down to the idea that they had to pay 5 different entities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think their biggest mistake in this, truthfully, was really going after all the shoe licenses. I think that they could have really saved some money there. Like seriously, I think that was like, even though and trust me on this, that was probably the smallest piece of that pie, right? But I think they could have saved an extra few bucks just by not doing that. I think that's actually
just leave the logos off the shoes.
Yeah.
Just make it a generic kind of shoe. You know what I mean? Like you could do something. They've done it for other figures. I mean, it's crazy. Red Foreman, thank you again for the $5 super chat, my friend. I really appreciate it. Hasbro got spoiled during the lockdown when people had to stay home and had stimulus checks coming in and planned to keep making those sales. Okay, I'm not even gonna talk about stimulus. I'm not gonna talk about any of that stuff. I will say that, and I'll put it this way. I will put it this way. My channel grew exponentially during the pandemic. Okay, so what I will say about that is people did not have much to do when they were at home. This is probably true. And being able to order online with Target, with Walmart, with Amazon probably did help people to get that ADD itch and just realize that, hey, you know what, I love this. I think I should start collecting. And there have been a lot of new collectors in the community. What's your experience with that portion of it, guys? Like, what did you experience during the pandemic for collecting?
Oh yeah, for collecting, I went so deep in the Transformers Netflix series that I bought so many Transformers that I actually didn't really like. I mean, I like collecting the vintage Transformers, but there was something about the War for Cybertron figures that kind of hit that 80s nostalgia for me. But it definitely filled a gap in my collecting, because like the G.I. Joe Classified series wasn't great in the beginning, so I wasn't really collecting that. Origins was just getting started, and I couldn't find them anywhere. I mean, I couldn't find them online, and then once we started to get out of lockdown and actually go to stores, I still couldn't find them anywhere. So it was a blessing and a curse, because I actually enjoyed collecting them for that period of time. But now they're all sitting in a box waiting to get sold. So there you go. That's how I spent my time in lockdown collecting.
I was just going to say, for the people who are lucky enough to still have their jobs, because I know a lot of people lost their jobs during the pandemic. For those of us who got to work from home, found themselves actually saving money, because you're not having to commute or buy lunch out or nice work clothes and that kind of stuff. So all of a sudden people found themselves with like disposable income, and they were bored, and they said, I'm stuck at home, so what do? you got nothing better to do. You can't go in the stores. You start shopping online. And I actually built up a lot of my vintage collections. I built up my Star Wars collection extensively, my vintage Star Wars collection at the beginning of the pandemic, because I just went on eBay and I had nothing better to do. And then when the Motu Origins figures hit, I was like, oh my God, these are so cool. And you could not get them anywhere but Walmart. It was so frustrating, but eventually the floodgates opened, and God, the rest is history. But I built up my collection extensively during the pandemic, and I think part of that was because I found myself having that disposable income. But what I was going to say on that note, now that we're getting out of the pandemic, a lot of people have had to return back to work. I being one of them, back to the office per se, commuting again, spending money. Gas is very expensive now, so that amount of disposable income the extra money I'm saying, has dropped dramatically. And so that's another reason that the toy manufacturers, the toy companies, should not be increasing their prices right now, because people now have a lot less disposable income to spend on toys than they did during the pandemic. I mean, that's the common cause. I see traffic has increased. People are going back to work, and they're having to now spend money on necessities more than toys. So, Hasbro, great on you for course correcting and lowering your prices.
Yeah, again, it's a slippery slope. We do have to, but I hope that common sense will prevail, and you can't sell toys if you price people out of the market, because nobody's going to buy the damn things, right?
Exactly.
Like that's really the biggest conundrum that a lot of toy companies are going to be facing very, very soon. Captain K 23. Actually, before I do that, sorry about that. Rufus Roger, thank you for the $2 super chat, my friend. I really appreciate it. As a fan, I wouldn't mind a bead with fake shoes. Well, there you go. I mean, there you go, right? Seriously, you don't need. Oh my God, another $10 for shoes. Like seriously, it's just not necessary. Thank you, Rufus. I appreciate that. Was there? I thought I saw another one. Look, no, I did the red formats. Okay, cool. Captain K 23. Hasbro stock dropped 34.4% last year. Yes, we touched on that earlier, and we'll be laying off 15% of the workforce. That is just sad. Okay, that is just sad. And I'm hoping that there will be enough room in this price drop to. But what do we think, guys? Is there a chance for more starting lineup, or is this an indication that the line might actually tail off right now? Like what? Because normally they already have a forecast for toys that are going to be released. Wave 1, wave 2, and it's only starting 2023. So I would imagine they would have had at least 2 or 3 lines set up for this.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well, but maybe they're just trying to time these releases with the I guess baseball season will start probably kicking up more in the spring and summertime, and so maybe they're trying to coordinate with that. But I guess if they've planned the lines already, if they probably have made their decisions on which lines they're continuing with, and so I think from that standpoint, I do think we'll see a football or at least a baseball line. Hopefully we'll see a hockey line. Hockey is fantastic.
Yeah, I do think they probably did plan out, a wave or two ahead in advance. But just going back on that note about Hasbro's stock dropping 34%, that was on the heels of their stock increasing, astronomically during the pandemic. So maybe the 34% drop is really them getting back to course correcting to what their normal stock range probably used to be when people had the money they had to spend on toys. So that might be part of it. But again, they should start to rethink their pricing. And if they want the starting lineup line to continue, they need to seriously think about keeping it at a price that people are going to pay for it.
Oh yeah, because like I wouldn't buy and I know this is a discussion and a debate, but I wouldn't buy the current players. I would buy all the old ones because that's all I know. And yes, and I love Unicron's left nuts comment, and I love the name of his user ID, my favorite. But yeah, he said that he wants figures of pro bowlers, and so little known fact, I was actually Northern California champion for bowling when I was 13. So I peaked early, and it was all downhill from there. So Unicron's left nut, you can have a action figure of me made.
You
Okay,
get
I
one of
do
those
have
selfie series of Michael.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I do have to correct myself because I was called out on this, and this makes sense. Rufus actually said, as a fan, I wouldn't want Embiid with fake shoes. So the license is important, right? The license, it's just to me, I don't know. I guess it really depends on who's buying. I mean, Rufus. I mean, obviously you need to see those things, but so Rufus, I got to ask you now. Did you pick up every single one of these figures at $50? I mean, like there's the question, right? Or at the very least, did you pick up Embiid at $50 with the real shoes? I guess that's something that you can answer directly. I mean, like that. I didn't want to misrepresent. I apologize. I apologize for saying it that way. I was just, I guess I was stuck on my point. I don't know. But there we go. Aaron Hardy. I wish Bo Jackson didn't walk off that dislocated hip. He'd be the goat if they fixed his hip. Brother, do you know how hard it is to move with a real with a metal hip? I mean, like seriously, I can barely move around with my real hip. Come on, come on, seriously. What the like? Let's be honest. Honestly, Bo Jackson was a great player. Who knows where he could have been if he had not gotten injured. I mean, that's just the way it is. Rufus Roger, damn, I just paid $50. Oh, there he goes. There. Okay, well, at least Rufus puts his money where his mouth is, right? I mean, that's true. So Rufus, thank you for that. So Rufus did pay $50 for Embiid. Can you take it back? Or if I were you, Rufus, I'm not even gonna lie about this. I would email Hasbro Pulse or whoever it is that you got your figure from, and I would ask for a rebate. I would ask for a coupon because that's not right. That is just not right. Rufus says the NBA is hell of expensive because the many sneaker deals. Case in point, right? Case in point, exactly. Batfan 1. The Super Bowl is next week, but better way to announce the NFL lineup. But they've been silent. That would mean to me ultimately the promo op. But a space on the Super Bowl, I mean, that would have cost them even more. I mean, like it's $1 million a spot.
Oh yeah,
like it is not cheap. I mean, it is not cheap. I mean, I know what you're saying. It would have had to be a partnership situation where the NFL, because of the license, they could have gotten some, but they won't do that. I already know that's just too lucrative. They won't do it. Having said that, I think we are agreeing. I think that if they already planned the lines, they're too far in, and if they already paid the licenses, they're not going to want to like. There are penalties. Like even like the way it works is if you pay a license and you're not going to do it, they actually penalize you for not bringing the line out, right? Because they use that as another point of advertising for them. There are consequences to not going forward, right? Which actually leads credence to Michael's point that maybe the NBA gave them the okay to drop the price. That's something that partners do, right? So that's something that could have happened. There's a lot of there are a lot of things in the wheels that are going around the cogs that we just have no insight on. But I just wanted to talk about what the implications are of this matter, and that is a really good question, Batfan 1. What is the future of this line? So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if they could have even afforded a launch during the Super Bowl, but you're right, it would have been amazing. Red Foreman, Mattel did some mega blocks of Game of Thrones? That's true. That's true. I do remember them. Yeah. So there's one. Were we able to find out if they did any others? I don't think so.
I was searching around and I found some Hot Toys, but those aren't mass produced action figures.
That is a different ball of wax entirely. Holy crap! I'd see that is just a completely different ball of wax. Speaking moistly, 2027 is the year of the GOAT. Somebody should issue a Jordan figure for the year of the GOAT because Jordan is the GOAT. Well, there you go. Speaking moistly, that's it. I think you're going to see a lot of GOAT figures. Greatest of all time in 2027. I think. That would be I don't know. In terms of marketing, that's actually a really good idea. I think that people are going to pick up on that.
Yeah.
Dave Yarbrough.
I'd buy a Lionel Messi figure.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
soccer greatest of all time, Lionel Messi.
Oh my God.
I can't even get his Funko Pop. It's like $200.
There's the thing though. There really isn't much football. There really isn't much soccer in terms of paraphernalia here in North America. You're going to see your jerseys, you're going to see your thing, but in terms of like Funko, I think took a stab at it, but I don't think it did particularly well.
They're not readily available. They're a fortune.
No, and I think when the North American Cup when the North American World Cup happens, I think it's going to change everything, right? But until
I do
then,
too.
I think we're a bit far from removed from that. David says my nephews are 13 and 8 sports fanatics. They will be all in with the starting lineup, but not at these prices. Even $30 is too much for the kids to get into. There's a really good point, right? But here's the thing, and I think we touched on this earlier. Could this survive at retail, guys? What are your thoughts?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess I guess if you're buying it online, you could buy it at just as easily in the store. But yeah, it's definitely not the kids. I don't think that are going to be buying these. So I guess as a parent myself, the parents are going to be shelling out the money for these things. And I mean, there is some major sticker shock when I go, when I was looking at kids' toys back in the day still, and I was like, geez, they're charging $50 for this. And so I think you always have to do the mental calculation in your head. And if your kid is not going to be playing with them and just displaying them, maybe, but what kid is going to be just displaying toys that like at a really young age? Maybe I haven't come across one, but
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to survive at retailer. If they can't sell enough of them online at the price that they had before and they had to slash it, the MOQ, the minimum order quantities that they have to get at the retail stores are huge. And that means they have to be very popular items that will sell those big numbers. And Walmart and Target order thousands of pieces. So I highly doubt that they'll be able to sell the quantities they need to be able to maintain it at retail.
that's a good point.
Yeah, the starting lineup was at retail in the 90s, though, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's how we got them.
Back then, everything pretty much was, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it
most
had to be,
toys.
right? It had to be,
Yeah.
right? Because I do remember McFarlane really pushing it at GameStop and at other locations. So, yeah, it's a tough market out there, regardless. Robert Monty, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, my friend. It's the 80s, 90s generation that has all the disposable income. The starting lineup figures should have been Michael Jordan, Bird, and Magic Johnson. Again, you're not wrong, Robert. But they're looking at sustainable lines, right? And if you're looking at a sustainable line, I think that you really got to look towards these newer generation figures. Unfortunately, time will tell. Time will tell where this goes. Knuckle Supper. I would buy a William Perry the fridge from my Joe's. Yes, but
I
you know
totally
what? That's not saying that's not going to happen.
Totally.
I mean, like the line is still fresh, right? I mean, he can't. He was like well after Sergeant Slaughter. So I think we're there's still even the what's it called, the Roughnecks. They had a basketball player there too. So that would be interesting to see going forward. Rufus Roger, I'm a huge 76ers fan. I'd love to get Embiid and Harden, but I'm not paying $30 for Montrez Harrell. I hear you, Rufus. So maybe now is really a good. Maybe this new adjusted price point will get people back into buying them, and I think that's the advantage on this, guys. Will this bring in new fans at the $29 price point? What do you?
I definitely think so. I mean, if you were really put off by the price of $50 and you just come on the site and you see a 40% price slash, and if you were on the fence and you were thinking to yourself, well, maybe I could get it, if they were at a lower price, I think that would definitely pull people in. And I hope that Hasbro is successful in doing this, because I would love to see them make more lines and make more figures like this, because I want my Wade Boggs and I want my Don Mattingly. So just make them.
Definitely. And that just brings me back to the point that if a line is at a palatable price to start with, that's going to bring people in. They're going to want to get engaged in it. Some people might be completists like Michael likes to be. And if they can afford to buy multiple figures in the line and that they're a fair price to begin with, they'll get into the line. And if the figures were too expensive at the start and you missed out on a couple waves because they were just too much money, you may not dive into the line at all. So just finding that sweet spot at what to price it at to start with is the best thing they can do to get people onto the line from the get-go.
Gwildor, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Gwildor. Frankie Babes, real sports collectors don't want these. Kids don't want these. Nobody really wants them. That's a bit that's a bit finalistic there, Frankie Babes. I mean, obviously somebody's buying these, right? I mean, like Michael was buying them at one point. I know tons of people who buy them. So Frankie Babes, I know where you're coming from, but I'm not 100% sure that's entirely the case. Chef Eddie, Spectre Creative has oh for crying out loud. I heard it from the experts. Yes,
that had to happen once tonight.
Yes, Chef. Yes, Chef. Absolutely. We're you know what we're trying our best to get Scott up on here. So hopefully one day he might actually show up and give us some wonderful insights. I really am hoping so. I really am. Honestly, I want Scott to come on. I want him to give us some insight as to what's happening right now. Again, I personally respect Scott and what he's done for the industry, and what he's done for collectors here. Let's be honest, guys. Mass Universe would not be here if it wasn't for Scott Neidlich. Let's just be perfectly honest about that. What happens afterwards, we'll deal with that when we get there. Like, seriously. Nolan, Pro Stars was a great show. Yeah, actually, Pro Stars was a really great show. Bo Jackson, Wayne Gretzky, and Michael. Was it Michael Jordan or was it Magic Johnson? I can't remember who the basketball star was. Anyway, it was a cartoon. Wonderful cartoon. I'm sure Nolan can tell us. Silver Team Matt, I would pay these current prices rosters at about $20 to $25, and the Legends of Magic Jordan, a bird, at around $30 to $35. That, you know what? I think we're all in agreement now that possibly this could get people back into it. At $29.99, it's not too bad. And I know what you're saying. You'd rather pay $20 to $25, but the extra $5, I think, is really necessary in terms of paying the rest of those licenses, honestly. So I think people will take a stab at $29.99. So hopefully this will continue. Holonet, yes, starting to cherry pick from all my lines. It's what's going to happen. Aaron, Hasbro's moving to Vietnam and Mexico. Oh, okay, here we go. Trying to bring some of these things to the U.S. and China is getting too expensive. A lot more of my MPs are also coming from Vietnam. I don't know. Are you guys looking at the feet? Like, where are you guys finding all this? Maybe it's in the back of the box. Is it in the back of the box?
So I'm checking out Tom Lasher here. Trying to see if I can see his manufacturer.
This one's made in China. It says it right there.
There you go.
Right. This one says made in China. Focus. Anyway, trust me, it does. Yeah. I mean, I guess you guys know more than I do. Maybe everybody's looking at these things. Yeah, this one's made in China too. So I mean, there are. Trust me, it says made in China right there, right? So I guess you guys are seeing things that I'm not seeing. But what is this? Toy Sorceress, what does it say on the back of your parts? Does it say anything?
That's what I'm looking at right now. Sorry, my lighting's kind of dim.
Yeah, actually, I really
Tom Lasher was made in China.
There you go.
And there's a wonderful review of him on the site right now.
Yes, there is. If you have your back, actually, you know what? Do you have one of the backing cards for the Sky Striker? I don't know if it's within reach.
Oh, for the Sky Striker? Actually, if you give me a second, I can get. Got it?
Yeah, I can grab one too.
Yeah, go for it.
What
do you guys go for it? Red Foreman, my Sky Striker was excellent. No problems at all. Congratulations. Craig CC, I'm going to be opening mine sometime this week. Craig CC, all I've seen for bad feedback for the Sky Striker was some of the figure boxes were banged up. I typically open mine, so it wouldn't bug me if we saw the Minden collectors would be bummed. So Michael, what does it say there, my friend?
Vietnam.
Oh,
yep.
Oh,
yeah. I do notice that some of the Hasbro stuff is I think it's split between Vietnam and China, and I don't know if so. Yeah, I have seen a lot of people on Instagram, with veined cards for their Sky Striker figures, and also just dinged up, and I'm guessing that's either maybe it's the fault of somebody like packing it in the box, or they're not all like this, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
Okay, so I am not collecting for value. What the heck is the difference if it's veined cards or not? Like, I can understand a ding I can understand. Veined cards, isn't that like a weather issue? Like, isn't that something where the moisture in the air will actually create ripples in because like I'm in the printing industry, and I know that much, right? But
yeah, Yeah, I mean that's a good point, but I guess if for collectors that display a certain amount of things in on card,
Sure.
it's more of an
Yeah.
aesthetic and a visual thing. Like I think people were super bummed, if they weren't going to open them. Like I open up 90% of my stuff. There's only a few things that I still keep on card just because I like the nostalgia of it. But
Well, these ones for me are not going to come off card only because of the unique nature of them. Right.
yeah,
That's the only reason why they're not going to come off card.
Mhm.
Right. Again, I don't collect for value, but these ones, because I don't have a vast O-ring collection, these ones along with these, right, all of these guys that I have picked up for the O-rings, these guys are all going to stay on card because I was all
Yeah.
in on retro collection, which they canceled, right? And I'm happy to open up those,
Mhm.
right? But these ones are definitely going to be
yeah.
staying on card, right? Toy Sorceress, how about you? Are you going to
Yeah.
keep them on card? Have you? Actually, you already opened them.
I
Took
had
one for
to,
the team.
it was so painful, like opening those up for the good of the site for the review, like especially Mickey Mouse Coco because he's selling for a fortune, but it's not the money, but it was like so hard for me to like cut those things open.
Yeah.
I did keep the card backs very nicely, but I actually ended up buying 2 sets.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that I can
So
keep a set of carded figures, and then I sold the Sky Striker for cost. I didn't make any money on it, but I
you know
sold
what?
the extra plane and kept the carded figures.
It's
That way
it's what
I
needs
can have both.
it's what needs to happen. So you have to recoup your and that's a smart move. That is a
Yeah.
smart move. A lot of people are like, oh, you're a scalper. No, no one is a scalper.
Oh, no, no.
If you don't know what
I
people
literally
situation
didn't
is,
make. I actually lost $3 on the wholesale, but I had a set of carded figures, which was
but
great.
there's the key, right? Again,
But for the
everyone's
good of the
situation
site,
is
I had to open them.
and you know what?
What I was going to tell you,
You're
Jay,
sorry.
if you can get a set of any of the brand new wing figures, maybe you find them a little cheaper or something. They are fantastic.
Yeah.
The quality of them, their joints, the way that they move and they hold their accessories now. Their hands are softer plastic, so you're not going to break anything in them. They just feel fantastic, and it's so nice to have like a fresh O-ring figure in your hand and actually get to touch it and play with it. I have all the other sets, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I got Duke and Cobra Commander, even though Duke came with some wonky eyes. But but again, the figures are fantastic, and if you have the means, I usually buy 2 sets so I can keep one on card. And it's always for the good of the website because I review them anyway.
100%. And you know what? You're doing great. You're doing great. And guys, once again, definitely check out Toy Habits on their website, toyhabits.com. Great resource for toy news all year round, particularly Master Universe, GI Joe, and soon. And what's it called? You guys are covering. Are you guys are covering Star Wars, right? No, not,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
Star
well,
Wars. Pretty much all the
yeah.
classic lines. Definitely head over to toyhabits.com for all that information. Lara says, "Hey, hello, Jay, Michael, and Toy Sorceress. What's going on, Lara? Good to
Oh,
see
hey,
you."
Lara.
Hi,
D
Laura.
Spirit, does any of the fourth panel believe that Hasbro stands to be bought? Just looking at some financial news with them, and it's now questioned. What? If that happens, I suspect lines would get slashed immediately. I'm gonna let you guys take a stab at that quick because I have a comment, but I'm what do you guys think?
Oh, I haven't heard anything about Hasbro being up for sale or even thinking about being up for sale, but I'm not really up on that part of the news. I like the toys and the financial aspect. I'm like, somebody else can cover that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything that sounds like rumor mill type of stuff. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I think if that was even remotely close, that there would be huge news and ripples throughout the whole community. So I wouldn't take too much stock
no.
in it.
Neither would I. The reality is when you're the biggest when you're the top of the totem pole, it's hard to knock you down. They will do whatever they can to stay at the top, and one of those unfortunate situations is that they're locking 15% of their workforce, and that will keep them afloat, even
Yeah.
though some people have to lose their jobs. It really does suck. Um, the other thing is there's nobody in the market to really absorb them. Mattel's not in the position to do that. Neither is, as much as they'd like to be, Jazzwares or any of the other smaller players. They can't. It's a near impossibility. So it would have to come down to them offering themselves, and that's not going to happen. I don't. I think they have too many partnerships. Disney is a very big partner with them, and Disney's massive. So I don't see. I think if anything, they would offer themselves to Disney as a private sale. I think that's probably the more than likely that's what they would probably do. But I can't see it. I just can't. It just doesn't seem anywhere in the cards. Silver Tiamat, I will always be. Oh, I read that already. Jermaine Hunter, yeah, I bought a lot of the figures during the lockdown. Yeah, this is again, we had nothing to do, right? So I mean, that's what it is. Frankie Babes. All the Lakers, 80s Lakers all the way, absolutely. JB's Toy Truck, Motu Rise of Evil 2-pack, and Flock Panther lockdown hunts. Those, it's really strange how there was nothing, and then not even 6 months later, they just it was everywhere. It was unfortunate too. Unfortunate. Red Foreman said as a fan he wouldn't want fake shoes. Yes, I know. I corrected myself. I did go back. Mike Mahan. I need the NHL starting lineup. I want an Ovi figure. Ovechkin, yeah, definitely. I can see a lot of people looking for Ovechkin, 100%. Christian Omberg, Tresa. Hello from Germany. Big fan of all of you guys. Thank you so much, Christian. We really appreciate that. Absolutely. Great to hear from you. Lara, I never stopped working during the pandemic. And thank God my job was very much essential. But I would say 100% of my collection came from shopping during the pandemic. It's my happy place. Lara, we thank you for your service. Honestly, like you and everybody else out there, people who were in the tech industry, people who were first responders, people who were, right there on the front lines protecting everybody here. We can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much, Lara. Really appreciate that. It's me, Mario. Hey, Jan Chat. Good to see you, Mario. How are you doing, buddy? How's your movie? Your movie coming along good? Good to see you, brother. Rufus Roger, I got Embiid and John Marat for my son. Dude, you are doing it right. Honestly, you are doing it right, mate. D Spirit, if Hasbro prices got too high and the lines got axed, do you think they would revisit other lines like Vintage 77 figure?
Oh boy!
All right, I'm. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead, guys. Go.
Yeah, I mean they already did revisit the vintage Star Wars line at least. Like the Power of the Force 2 wasn't a fan of the sculpts, but again, like if you were collecting at that time, that's the only thing that you really knew, and so that could pull your nostalgia strings for you. So like I'm not here to tell anyone that like one line is better than the other, but I would love to see them kind of redo all the lines going back. I think that would be awesome, and I think it would be a money printing machine. And Hasbro has a very big opportunity to play into all of the G.I. Joe O-ring collectors out there who are clamoring for these O-ring figures that, when they launched the Sky Striker, they said, oh, this is the relaunch of the O-ring line. It has not been a relaunch of the O-ring line. And, we've seen smatterings here and there of O-ring figures. And I think, they could make up probably quite a significant margin if they actually started producing, maybe they could produce the waves as they came out in 82, 83, 84 as they were intended. And I think that'd be huge for them.
Yeah, definitely riding that wave of nostalgia is the way to go. Building out the Ovary line, definitely a big winner for Hasbro. I think they're clamoring for classic characters. Give us some Duke and Flint and Bazooka and all those other guys. There's so many of them left to collect, and how cool would it be to be having a brand new one on card? People would love that. But the other thing, that they need to build out more is like the Star Wars retro line with like the original Kenner figures. I know they're trying to build out like kind of the newer Star Wars shows that are on Disney and the new movies, but people are clamoring for finish off the first 12 retro figures that they showed off at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm like, why haven't they gone up for pre-order? So many people are like clamoring for those original Star Wars Kenner figures, that if they built that line out too, I think that would be like a home run. Could you imagine? The vintage Star Wars figures are so expensive now, and it's very hard to find them in good condition. So if they started re-releasing those and get rid of those tattered cards, like that graphic is just hideous. Make some nice clean cards, make the card back a little bit thicker. I'd gladly pay, way more money.
Whoever came up with that idea, I mean, I understand as a designer, I know where they're going for it. They look terrible. They look absolutely freaking terrible. You know what? Leave them in a hot warehouse for a month and then pull them out. They'll be fine. All the veining and everything will come naturally. It'll be great. And then the plastic will yellow. You're good. But stop it with the freaking false what's it called, aging. It's not working. Like, seriously, just, oh my god, I'm totally on board with that, with you, Toy Sorcerers. That's just nuts. All right, so Frankie Babes, good luck with it. Good stuff. King Panther, Mr. J, Michael, and Toy Sorcerers. I grew up playing with the original 80s Motu, and the 2000 line was great for its time, but they don't pose well. And Classics is still great, but Origins is my favorite now. Well, you know what, brother? You're not alone. They're definitely the best sellers out of the lot. I will tell you that much right now. Red Foreman, have you all smashed up? Thank you, Red Foreman. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate that. And definitely, guys, don't forget to definitely check out Toy Habits on toyhabits.com. All their social medias, because they do the breaking news every single day. Honestly, they work really hard, and we really should give them a like and a follow. Tell them that Jay sent you. Jeremy Kimberlin, the price drop was cutting NFT out. Like, honestly, that was just free money. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna go out and say it. That was free money for them. That was just free. They had no overhead. They had nothing else to do but to build a website. That was kind of free money for them. Seriously. Ashman 55. More modern basketball is nowhere near as popular as it used to be. They have alienated too many fans in the NBA, and the ones that alienated are the ones that would not buy. I don't know. You know what? I can't. Number one, I can't speak to that. I'm not a statistician. I don't know. Michael could probably say something, but I don't think so. I think basketball has been more popular now than it's ever been. The stadiums are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's not a coincidence. Do you guys want to answer this? You want to pass? Because honestly, my personal feeling is that basketball's incredibly popular right now.
I'll pass on this one.
Yeah.
Freaky
it's like
Tiki.
a hot potato.
Oh, it is. It is. But I'm going to go out on record and saying, I'm going to go out and saying that when stadiums get bigger, that means that they're doing better, not getting worse. Freaky Tiki. Without scalpers, it would be impossible to get sketch. Dude, that is a terrible thing to say. But I mean, you're not wrong.
Can I have an editorial on that? I was just going to say, if people decided that they wanted a Sky Striker when it was up for order during the HasLab project, just a few more people, we would have ketchup and mustard today. That's all I'm saying, folks. And you would not have to pay double for your plane. You would have a whole set for the $250 out the door, and we'd have 2 more figures. So next time, think about it, right? 2020's hindsight. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
This is, again,
I'll get off my soapbox.
We can end on that note. Good night, guys. No, I mean, seriously, there's a lot of arguments to be made there. However, I will say that it's not necessarily scalpers; it is resellers, and honestly, that is something. Yeah. There is the aftermarket tax. Let's put it that way. There is the aftermarket tax, and yeah, it is another case of if you snooze, you lose. Now, there's also the case that if you didn't have the money at the time and you have the money now. This is the unfortunate situation. This is the unfortunate situation. And let's be honest, trying to get an inbox vintage Sky Striker, you're gonna pay more. Like, that's just the way it is. So yeah. Pick your poison, guys. Speaking moistly, I'm all in on Motu Origins, but have to pick and choose from other lines. I only have 6 G.I. Joe classified figures. Whoa! And I had to get my man Roadblock. Wow, dude. Okay, well, you know what? Again, you are in the situation that we're all sort of feeling right now, my friend. Silver Tiamat. I only have a few characters G.I. Joe classified. I want / own Tomax, Zaymot, Storm Shadow, Zarana, and waiting for Jinx. Wow, guys. And you know what? When Jinx lands, it's going to be over at Toy Habits. I can tell you right now. So head over there and follow that page. Robert Monty, my Sky Striker. Oh, look at it. It is the twins. My Sky Striker has no issues at all. Congratulations, my friend. A lot of people are... Now, well, I haven't heard any actual QC issues other than perhaps 2 left arms. I heard something about that. But other than that, I've heard that so far, as far as I know, the construction has been pretty spot on. Have you guys heard anything?
Yeah, so the plane itself, the construction of the plane, I haven't heard any issues. But yeah, I think the main issues have been with the card backs. And yeah, I think Chaz the Guru posted that his Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander came with 2 right arms. And yeah, I think that's the only thing that I've seen is just the issues with the figures themselves. But that's also prompted Chaz to want to dig into his. I think he wasn't planning to, I think, to open the Sky Striker, but he wants to now because he's also hearing reports that of missing accessories. So check your Sky Strikers.
That being said, I don't think there's been like a really inherent QC problems. It might be, kind of spotted like here and there, but it's no like Mondo He-Man, so where everyone was breaking in half. that happened to way too many people. I'm so sorry, Jay. It happened to mine. But my point being is, I think reports of any QC problems have been very minimal on the Sky Striker. I know. I feel your pain. I had to glue mine back together. I even text Michael as soon as I got it, and I was like, "What the heck?" Because I had actually something else, 2 other figures break on me that same day, and I was just having really bad luck.
I felt really bad for you.
Too soon. But yeah, no, I get it.
It's still flesh.
Justin's asking a question: is the Toy Sorceress evil or good?
Ooh,
good. Of course.
That's the wrong answer. Apparently, Justin, she is on the side of good. So the Grayskull is protected, from the forces of evil. It's me, Mario. Scott won't be coming back on. He'll get destroyed in the comments. If Scott comes and does decide to, have a discussion with us, I will, of course, make it a civil conversation. And guys, be warned, that means that if you troll, you are going to get timeout and 2 timeouts, and then you're out. Sorry, that's going to be the way it is.
Yeah.
If it happens.
I think what people miss out on this is, it's about the dialogue and having a discussion, and you want the discussion to be civil. And I think, having people on with different points of view, I think is fantastic. Like that's what keeps the conversations going. It keeps the properties alive, and it keeps us, and entertained for a while. And so I think it's actually great that, even though it's maybe an opinion that we don't agree with, we can all talk about it and talk about it like adults.
Oh gosh, that went the wrong way. No, and that's what's going to happen, right? Because if we do have the opportunity, and I'm going to say it this way, if we do have the privilege of having Scott back on, we have to be respectful of again. And I've always said this: I respect Scott for his knowledge and his insights and what he's been able to bring us. We know more about Motu now than we ever have, and it's partly thanks to Scott Knightley. Jermaine Hunter. Finally got Bazooka and Rukondo yesterday. They finally arrived here in Michigan. I used to have the starting lineup figures back in the day, of course. I had Michael Jordan. Excellent. Thank you, Jermaine. Jermaine, would you be buying it? Would you buy the $50 price point, or are you actually more satisfied at the $29.99? Let us know in the comments. Punk with Toys. The veins are from Heat. They use thicker cardstock, but the paper is cheap along with the printing process. Good point. This is actually true. I am in the printing industry, and I know firsthand. But I wonder if that and people have been reporting that certain cards have veining and certain cards don't. So are certain cards coming out of one factory and other cards coming out of another factory? There's another wonderful question we can find out, and that's something you can find out on toyhabits.com, because I'm pretty sure they're going to deep dive into that to find out investigatively what is going on with these toys. Jeremy Kimberlin, you cannot scalp a HasLab as it was open for 45 days and everyone had the opportunity to acquire it. Sounds familiar because that's something that Toy Habits said on their article. Definitely, thank you, Jeremy. Big Mac, if Disney had bought Hasbro, it would be crazy. There are a lot of people who are saying the opposite. A lot of people are saying the exact opposite. But Big Mac, that would be interesting, guys. What do you think? Would it be better or worse if Disney buys Hasbro? And this is just open speculation. It's not something that's definitive. We're just do you guys want to comment or don't?
I mean, all I can say is I hope that there are no lines that get cut if a deal goes through like that. But that said, when mergers like that happen, things get cut. And, I would hate to see lines that collectors collect be non-existent anymore. But I think regardless of who owns the company, like it would be great to have backing with a huge corporation like a mega billion-dollar corporation like Disney. So I think it can only mean maybe good things, for the line. But on that same note, I would hate to see if some lines got cut in the process.
Yeah, I agree, because I don't want them having a perspective of saying, oh, like, hey, let's cut GI Joe because your figures have guns, and we're Disney and we can't sell figures with guns and things like that. So that would be kind of sad. We wouldn't want them to go down that route where they start kind of censorizing like the lines that Hasbro has been known for as their cornerstone of their company. So I wouldn't want it to happen. Maybe some other corporation that has big bucks that is trying to get a bunch of toy companies together to have a little bit more buying power or something like that. But I don't think Disney is the right place for Hasbro to go to. I would hate to see anything get cut too.
I totally forgot about the gun thing, but I thought that was a Warner Brothers thing. Because isn't that why McFarlane is including guns?
Disney does that kind of stuff too. They're
yeah,
it's because they cater to kids, and they're very like sensitive about the type of materials and things that they
Yeah,
sell.
I mean, also, you have to recall when I think this was back in maybe 2016. There were talks about Disney actually buying the company Twitter, but there was so much that Disney found on the Twitter platform that went against their brand. They decided not to acquire.
I wonder what that was.
Right.
I mean, Star Wars figures have blasters and that kind of stuff, so it's not too bad. But like GI Joe's very military centric, so yeah. I don't know if that would be something that they would want to carry, and we hate to see them get cut.
Absolutely. Twitter and their cake, everybody. Jeez Louise. Anyway, Jeremy Kimberlin, Jazzwares was recently acquired themselves. Wow, I did not know that. That's crazy. Thank you. Captain Jack picked up 2000's 3.75 inch scale Imperial Shuttle Bay, complete and decent and nearly perfect. Holy crap. Juggernaut 3.75. Holy, congratulations, Captain. That's quite the score. Oh my goodness. At least got awesome vehicle. Sorry, Power of the Force. At least Power of the Force got awesome vehicles and droids. You can't deny that. But the upper body just it just got weird, man.
Yeah,
it just got so
jacked,
so weird. It was like they're doing a He-Man thing.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have done. They should
not have done. Luke.
Luke does not need to be Prince Adam. Luke is not Prince Adam. Luke is Luke. He's a.
Yeah. Although his 2000 X figure does look like Luke Skywalker, so Mattel actually got Hasbro's sculpt for Luke's face right.
That's funny.
Back in the day.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Speaking moistly, I picked up Curry and Donick and Donick. Love those guys and great players. Excellent. Congratulations, my friend. Maybe you can get a rebate. Randall Gazik, are you saying that Hasbro is cutting 50% or 15%? I thought it was 15. It's 15. If I was not pronouncing it properly, it's 15. My TV is working tonight, but I did get Deathstroke and Nightwing. Plus, my Wally World is putting out last year's Motu Origins, which is good. If anybody can actually pick up figures they missed, that's a good thing rather than a bad thing. And you know what? When's the last time we actually seen Walmart carry any figures recently? So honestly, I hope it continues. Red Foreman, I'll be opening all of mine. I never sell them, and I can't play with gem mint on just mint on card. Again, if you've never had a Coco and this is the one that you can't do any better than that. Seriously. Alpha Magnus, I would have bought a Barkley, Jordan, Shaq, and I don't even watch sports. Again, there's superheroes out there, man. They exist. They are real. David Yarbird, I would love more O-ring figures. Need HasLab flag from. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is another discussion. Oh, jeez, Louise. All right, you know what?
That would be my coffee table in this room.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
that is pretty much it. Our good friend Toy Connections. He brought his out of storage just to do some photography now alongside and to compare it with his Technodrome, which he's doing a review on this week. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, definitely check out Toy Connections. You're going to see a wonderful review on both. Well, not exactly a review. He already did a review on the flag, but you are going to be seeing an upcoming review on the Terrordrome. So, guys, nostalgia abounds over at Toy Connections. And let me tell you this, he just does not have the
Nice.
room. The only reason he was able to take it out was because he's alone this weekend, and that means that there's nobody there to destroy his beautiful collections over at Toy Connections. So, guys, definitely head over to Toy Connections. Oh, look who it is, guys. It is the Baroness of Toys. Getting rid of the big orange retro sticker. LOL. What? I don't understand.
On the Star
For the,
Wars retro.
For the Star Wars retro figures, they have a
Oh,
big old.
yes.
I've actually heated mine up and took them off based on the Toy Sorceress's
brave.
advice. So it looks like a very clean, vintage, nostalgic figure without
That's
the
crazy.
red retro collection.
And now you got to be careful. Now you got to be careful of the waves. So it's just an ongoing struggle with mint on cards. Captain Jack, make the retro stickers printed instead. No, that's what people don't want. That's what people don't want, Captain Jack. You've been drinking too much rum.
Can I say something to Hasbro? They made incredible Ghostbusters retro figures that look just like the vintage ones. Card backs were thick. They didn't have any stupid faux weathering on them, no giant stickers on them. Of course, some of the text on the back was different, and it definitely said Hasbro on it instead of Kenner. So they weren't vintage, but they did an incredible job. So Hasbro, if you're listening, make the Star Wars retro figures like those, please. I beg of you.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Perfect example. Look how great that is.
It does say
I have all of them too.
on the back.
It's Kenner, but on the back it says Hasbro. Yeah, and so some of the text is a little different. The card back with nice new, re-rendered illustrations. It looks great. Yeah. Right?
When you hear this noise, that's a good card back right there. And I'm not scared to do that. Oh, yeah. Unlike this thing where I dare not do anything with
God.
it.
Oh geez.
Oh my God. I don't want to breathe on this thing. I do not want to breathe on that thing.
And those figures are so big. I mean, you'd think they'd give them a little bit more, like structural integrity. And I can say that because I'm an architect.
There you go.
With that heavy figure on there.
What happened? Yeah. What happened, Hasbro? What happened? Punk with Toys, you can't scalp something everyone had the chance to get. That's not true. That is not true. I know where you're going with that, Punk, but that's not true. Red Foreman, what do you all think next? Classified HasLab will be hopefully the Dragonfly and Wild Bill. No, I hope not. I hope the Dragonfly, and I know how big it's going to be, but I'm hoping the Dragonfly is going to be, we got the Rattler. No, not the Rattler. We got the what is this thing called again? The the
Hiss?
Yeah, no, not the Hiss. No, not the
Sky Striker?
No, guys, stop. No, the Cobra single helicopter.
The Stinger.
Yeah, the Stinger.
Stinger.
No, the Stinger's the vehicle.
Oh, do you mean the Fang?
Hold on. The Fang. Yeah, the Cobra Fang. Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's the Fang. Yeah, the Fang. Yeah, we got the Fang, and I was always hoping that even if it's not the right scale, I was always hoping that the Dragonfly would be a retail release. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping for. But on that note, if it is full size, is that an appropriate HasLab? What do you guys think?
Are we talking O-ring or classified series? We're probably talking classified series.
I think they're talking about the classified rumors.
Yeah, geez. I think that yes, I think that would be an appropriate thing for HasLab. I don't want them to make a Dragonfly. Wild Bill would be cool to have in the line, but we don't need a 6-inch scale helicopter floating around. Again, it's space and room. And I mean, if you've looked at what Hot Toys has come out with, they have the N1 Starfighter from the Mandalorian. It's 4 foot by 5 feet in wingspan and length and width. It's who has room for that? It's make something else. I would love for them to just to start making some of the older play sets like the Flag or the Terrordrome as HasLab projects. I think those would be amazing because you can't. It's very hard to find a Terrordrome in good condition that's not broken or has missing parts or broken pieces. So I would like them to do that.
Yeah, I agree. With those play sets and things like that, just stick to the O-ring scale because people are running out of space and they don't have unlimited pockets. So could you imagine how expensive one of those larger ones would be in the classified scale? And you just don't have the space. So continue the O-ring line, make some amazing play sets and vehicles, please, with like lots of figures packed in. I don't even know. I bought a Hiss tank. And I don't know where the heck I'm gonna stick that sucker because it's huge. I saw a photo of it and I told Michael, "What did I do?" I don't have space.
Which one?
The Hiss tank, the classic.
Yeah. It's bigger than it looks, eh?
It's almost the size of a Thunder tank, right?
No,
I mean, it's
nowhere
a little
near.
smaller, a little smaller, but it's still
near.
pretty dang big.
It's big.
It's pretty big.
It's big, but it's nowhere near the size of the Thunder. The Thunder tank.
I didn't say it was as big. It's not as long. It's not as long, but it's bulky.
Yes, it's dense. It is dense, but the Thunder tank.
It's dense.
I was on a Thundercat stream last night. You can use that for a kid. Can use that for his bed. That thing is huge. That thing is massive.
It is massive.
I was being very facetious, but it's a big sucker.
I'm hoping the Super 7 store, they're going to get them in stock in the Super 7 store in San Francisco, and I'm hoping that they open one because I actually want to go down and see.
They would be stupid not to. They're going to put that on display in the fish tank, and they're going to let people like think about buying it. Trust me, its presence alone makes you want to buy it. That's the problem with it.
Yep.
Right. That's the actual problem with it. Like you literally like, dear God, I can't afford it, but I need it. It's that kind of thing that happens with these types of again, they're gigantic dream projects, right? I mean, you wouldn't be oogling at them if you didn't want them. That's just the way things are. I wish what is that? There it is. Red Foreman again thank you again for the $5 super chat, my friend. No room for classified Dragonfly, but room for a flag.
He called me on that one. So here's my logic on that one. Here's my thinking. So I'm going to use it as a coffee table. So it is a piece of furniture, and you can put your Sky Striker on it or any of your other GI Joe 3 3/4 inch vintage things that you can have or still have in your collection. So yeah, it's basically it's a shelf, it's a piece of furniture, it's a display piece, 3 things in one. You can't go wrong, Hasbro. Come on, let's do it.
If you have clear 7-foot length in your room, then bless you. That's great. I have a 3-foot coffee table that I bang into all the time in my room. So,
19 Jace has the ultimate solution because he figures he figures he's going to be alone afterwards. He says that the flag will go to the wife's side of the bed because he will no longer have a wife. I believe that's the point here. So Chase, good on you, bro. Please don't. We are. Red follows that up with Dragonfly will be long, but the rotors line up with the body or could fold up. I hear you, brother. But again, do you want a folded icon on your shelf? Like that's the other biggest the other thing. I buy a flag, I won't have a wife. This is exactly that. Looks like everybody's on the same train on that one. It's pretty crazy. Robo Geeks 28, a punk with toys indeed. Yes, indeed. Neil Hill, the famous toy sorceress. Very, very cool to see her. There you go, Neil.
Hi, Neil.
Punk with toys. The plane has issues with the front landing gear. Not all, but some are hanging down. Well, let's hope most people get theirs intact. And I think even with front landing gear, that can be fixed. But ideally you don't want any, but there are going to be ones that are going to have problems. Palpatine 1975. Greetings, exalted ones. Greetings to you too, my lord. How are you doing tonight? Rodimus 1982. I had no QC issues with my victory saber. That is ideally what we all want. I won't troll, but I will. Well, if you troll, brother, I'm going to give you a timeout, and then you have one more chance. No, we're not going to talk about kidults today. Both of you guys, stop it. Stop it right now. Both of you guys. You guys are terrible. Unicorn's left nut. I appreciate Scott. Michael can't get enough of that. I appreciate. You know who that is? It's got to be Rodimus. I mean, he's down there, right? I appreciate Scott's videos about the classics, but the other Motu stuff. Easy, guys. The other Motu stuff I ignored at this point. We're all getting our chuckles out right now. you know what, Scott brings a lot of knowledge, and if it happens, we're all gonna have a good time, I think, and we're gonna try and make it as good a time as possible. And I'm gonna see, if it happens, Toy Habits is welcome to join and join in the discussion. We'll see. Again, it's a pipe dream for now, but we'll see what happens. It might be a thing. Palpatine 1975. You see also all of a sudden QC issues starting with Victory Saber, Mondo, D&D, Star Wars, and now Sky Striker. It could seem that coming from people running the specific factory or factories. There is a really good question. We have been seeing a lot of QC issues. Cry. What are your guys' thoughts? Is something happening, or was it actually situated at the time of release, considering that there was Chinese New Year out? What do you guys think about that situation?
Oh, like QC issues just in general cropping up. I don't know. Well, I guess I have my theories on some of the Mondo QC stuff, and I know that's it's an issue and it hurts to talk about. But they've redesigned their Masters of the Universe bucks, and so I think they're having maybe some growing pains, and also with their She-Ra as well. So it's a new newer female buck, and so maybe they're going to be learning from this and course correcting. And I mean, good on them for making good on all of these.
And I was going to say, I don't know if Funko buying Mondo out had anything to do with it, and maybe they changed factories or manufacturing processes to like cut down on costs, or who knows how that could have affected the way they put their figures together. But yeah, that could be.
Was the Funko buyout? Would the Funko buyout have actually? Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Like, would they have to? Would they have? Because as we know, Funkos don't have the greatest track record either. I mean, the paint, like for such simple figures, their paint applications are terrible. So could that actually be one of the issues, that they actually are using their suppliers instead of Mondo's or traditional suppliers?
I think that could be a cause. I mean, I had a Savage Thundercats Panthro. I don't know if you guys remember those 5.5-inch figures, and I had to buy like 3 of them, and the legs kept breaking with just moving it, and some of them were even broken inside the package. And that line was notorious for having major QC issues that people just the line went away altogether. But
yeah, I mean,
so I don't trust Funko's ability too well.
I guess it boils down to like if Funko is treating Mondo as an individual company, and so leaving their factories intact in their production process versus just kind of moving Mondo's production process in-house to Funko. So yeah, I don't know that part of it.
I guess we'll find out as the partnership continues. Actually, it's no longer a partnership. They're the owners now. Yeah. Frankie Babes, anyone remember Shack Attack figures? Just barely. Just barely. It's a foggy. He did he was a DJ. He was a video game. He was an action figure. Just barely. Honestly, just barely. Toys R Us, do you remember any of those at all?
No. That's one that slipped by me.
Yo, see, I got the Evil Bay Jordan 2-pack. No, that the Enter Bay. What's Enter Bay? The Enter Bay Jordan 2-pack with all the shoes. I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's a 1/6 scale figure, but I think it wasn't that a Chinese manufacturer only? I'm not 100% sure. Interesting. I would love to see it. I thought Hot Toys was going to do one too. Anyway, good stuff. Red Foreman, Scott declared for years that Motu simply could not succeed at retail, and is a little salty that it did for a couple of years at least. Well, you know what, Red? That's probably true, but can you guys take this for a second? I just got a call coming.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think a year and a half ago, I think he was beating the same drum, and I think just looking at the empty shelves in Target or Walmart and kind of trying to read the tea leaves a little bit, but I don't. Yeah. It could be salty. I don't know. I mean, so I'm not sure. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, so some of that was his timing, because when did he go and take photos of all those empty shelves? Right after the holidays, when every single toy is absolutely obliterated, and also in between that reset, because they're resetting the entire toy. So sometimes they even take stock down and put it on a cart or move it somewhere so that they can go ahead and rearrange everything. So I think that was a little bit of a red herring, saying, "Hey, look at the toy, they're empty." But if there was like a stack of Motu figures sitting there unsold, then I can tell you, okay, maybe the line might be dying because no one's buying it. But showing empty shelves, that means that it got sold out and people were nuts about it and they're all gone. So I don't know how much that helped his cause.
You know what? Scott's a good guy. I'll like
Oh yeah.
I think he truly does have insights as to what's going on. I think the reality is when you say something, you've got to own it, right? That's probably what it is. And you know what? He's decided to own it, and now it's time to find out what he thinks now, right? Like 6 months ago is one thing. 6 months ago, now the present is a different thing. So we'll see how it goes. If he decides to come on, and I'm hoping he does. Frankie Babes, Disney loves to raise prices. Well, their ticket prices definitely haven't dropped. That much is true. Neil Hill, is Disney buying Hasbro for real? No. This is all speculation, Neil. Thanks for chiming in. 19 JJs. No more Disney anything. Oh, he's easy. 19 JJs. He's easy, brother. Easy. Red Foreman, Disney is having its own financial problems right now. They lack the free cash to pay billions for Hasbro. I don't think that's actually true. And the way it wouldn't be a liquid sale. It would definitely be a cash and stock acquisition. Nobody does liquid sales anymore. That's kind of stupid. Not that you're stupid. I'm saying that a purely liquid sale would be ridiculous. You would lose. You would completely lose. But thank you.
Elon. Sorry.
Ooh, that was close. Aaron E. Nichols. Can you imagine Bazooka with no bazooka? No. Why would you call what?
I think that was because if Disney had bought Hasbro, they'd be like, "Oh, you can't."
Oh crap! Okay, you know what? You're still you have see now the Toy Sorceress knows all. Like with both Michael and I, what the hell are you talking about?
I got you, Aaron. I got you.
Oh, you got it. Jeez. The Sorceress knows all. Make my Marvel Legends at $29.99. The new the new figures are still overpriced. Starting lineup. If they had been $25, it would have been all in. But the original $50 price tag was insulting. Yeah, it is tough to swallow. It really is. I mean, that would be a true collector's market. You know what I mean? That's getting really, really close to unaffordable. I mean, it's hard to see a lot of people jumping in on the line at that. And you know what? Just because we do have that on the screen, I queued this up earlier, but let's take a quick look at these guys. So this is the starting lineups likeness of Joel Embiid. So that's what he looks like there, right? So if we take a quick look at this figure, so there is the likeness of Joel Embiid, and this is what his actual photo is. What do you guys think? I mean, I think it's overexposed, but what are your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think the sculpt is a little narrow in the chin for me, but I think overall, it looks close, but I don't think they nailed it.
yeah, it's tough mark. I mean, they're already coming under fire for a lot. And here's the other thing. This is the digital render, right? So I think the digital render got closer.
Yeah,
that looks better, definitely.
Yeah. I think they definitely got the digital render closer. And this is that situation where what is presented versus what is sold, right? So yeah, definitely an interesting case there.
Yeah.
This is
sorry.
Yeah. This is the Jamarant figure. That's the sculpt, and this is the actual person in real life.
Not too bad.
Well, okay. Now it should be noted that on the court they're breathing heavy, right? So I wonder if they were. I wonder if they were to open his mouth just slightly, if it would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, or just like thin the face out a little bit.
Face a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think
And this
that's
end,
what
they got the face a little bit too wide.
I think his face is a little wide.
Yeah. Here's the digital render, and I think this is a case where the digital render might have actually gotten a little closer,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit.
Yep.
Right. Interesting how these things work out when it finally comes to the real thing. And now we're looking at the price point of $29.99 versus $50, and there it is. Actually, there's the price slash. Right. I wonder if there's anything in here about the All-Star game. All-Star game. No, there's not. So interesting that these come at this interesting time. This is Luka Doncic, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the extra syllables. My apologies to anybody who actually knows how to pronounce that. But so that's that's Luka right there, and this is Luka in real life. I'm undecided.
Yeah,
I am undecided.
Yeah, and also too, like some of the angles, then I think we know this from the way that Mattel shoots Masters of the Universe figures, like the production shots sometimes look a little bit different than when you actually get the figure in hand. So
well, there's the thing, and of course, I do think the digital renders actually were, again, it's that thing where the digital renders are actually closer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's probably something with also the manufacturing processes and their sculpts and maybe like the tolerances when something comes out of the manufacturing process that kind of maybe slightly adjusts the proportions or something like that. I don't know, because I'm not a toy maker, but that could be part of it.
Yeah, but we are talking about we are talking about a $50 figure here, right? And obviously $29.99 now, but these are the realities we're dealing with. So here's the Greek Freak. Shoot, I'm losing my notes here. Giannis. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that Greek name. Sorry. Yeah, there's Giannis, and here is his real figure. Yeah, the angles, I think, make a big difference as well, right? Like
yeah,
a little bit off.
It'd be nice to have some on court expressions, like at a $50 price point. These figures would be ripe for like an on court expression, right?
Swap.
Huffing and puffing, mouth open.
I think a head swap would have been an added value to this.
Yeah, because I mean, can you imagine a Michael Jordan one with the tongue sticking out? And I think that'd be amazing.
Okay, that's sure. Why not? No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you know what? This is one case where I don't think the digital render was any better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
lacking a bit of detail.
Hard. This one, though, unfortunately, I'm gonna say I don't think this one. My personal opinion is that I think Steph could have been better. I'm gonna go out on a limb on this one and say Steph definitely could have been better on this one. I don't think, and I think he just has that face. I think he just has that face, which is hard to capture. I think that's just what happened here. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I think they missed the mark on that one.
Yeah, I think maybe giving him a different facial expression.
Yeah, he looks a little Russian in this.
It's just so hard to capture his face. He's got that Mark Hamill type of features where not that he looks like Mark Hamill, but I'm talking about like trying to capture his face. He's got those tiny little inflections that I think is really difficult to capture. I think, and I think doing something like this helps. You know what I mean? Where you actually put him in a pose. I think you can sort of imagine that's Steph Curry there. I think you can sort of imagine it because he's got that signature pose. But off of that, I think that it's very hard to capture his face. Yeah, definitely a difficult one there. And this is LeBron James. And this is LeBron James in real life.
Yeah,
that one's not too bad. I would love for them to kind of go a little bit deeper with the beards because I think I think they cut the beard a little too close. So if they kind of had a little more chunkier beard, I think they would have nailed it. But pretty close. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I also think it's the same issue that they're having with this. Could actually be the exact same issue they're having with. And here's the digital render. I think the digital render got closer again. But I think you're right. I think this is another instance in which, very much like what's happening with their selfie series, it's just not. What they're able to do with this facial technology is not exactly on par.
Yeah.
Right. So, but the real issue then is, as you said, Michael, I think at the $50 price point when it was originally that, a second head sculpt would have been great. Getting the smiling faces, getting the secondary looks. I think that was something that really could have helped with this line. Jason Tatum here, right? I think is another hard face to capture. Just based on his overall look. But I think they did a not too bad of a job, honestly. I think the skin tone though is really hard to capture here.
Yeah.
He's just got that skin tone that's very, very difficult. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't do. Yeah, I guess with the expression that they gave him too, it's kind of hard to match up. But I thought like the hair and the beard look good.
Yeah. Again, it's a hit and miss. It really is. It's just a difficult thing to do. Here's Trae Young, his figure. Hey, stop it! What the heck was going on there? And this is definitely one which is very hard. I honestly say, because his hair is kind of wild. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It goes from side to side. Like he's got that wild and free kind of look, right? And then there's the body type. The body type is hard to nail on at this level as well. I mean, he's got a very unique body style. You know what I mean? Where and depending on his diet at the time, he could go up and down in weight, right?
Yeah.
So,
do you think this might have played into some of the, if the line is not doing well, like how well they actually captured the likeness of these players?
I think that's essential.
Maybe part of it.
I think that a lot of people are identify with these people based on the way they look, right? I mean, if you and I are having trouble, if the three of us are having trouble saying, yeah, that's him, right? And that's just based on what we see here. And this is the real figure, right? This is not a digital render. So what is that? That speaks volumes in a lot of ways, right? So
yeah,
like it's tough. Yeah, they had a long way to go, and I was hoping. I'm guessing that they were thinking that they could have fixed issues as they go from side to side, right? But yeah, it's tough. And then they have the hoop set, and this I don't think changed in price at all. I believe this was originally $29.99. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think about this one?
I mean, it's nice to have that added accessory for your display. And it's probably essential. It's kind of cool to have one with like the ball swishing through it. So it's pretty neat. But if it had maybe I don't know, is that like a real little mini net? Because
what is this?
The figure comes with the ball. The one that's already inserted, not the one with the ball swishing out of it.
No, what
it looks like a stand. Like that you can.
It's a flex stand.
Yeah, it can raise and lower.
Yeah, but is that a waist?
Your figure so he can be like dunking or something, right?
But
that's what I'm saying. Is that a real net?
But that's what I meant. Does that grab the waist, or does that grab the ball? Because why is it so round? Because the included stand with each of them. Oh, okay. It's got.
Maybe it's the
it's just the other side,
right?
Okay. Okay. It was hard to tell from this angle. This angle was just so weird. I can't see the break. Right. So okay. All right.
Yeah, it's hard to see the break.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
But if that's real netting, that'd be kind of cool. Because I mean, if you're at your desk, like working or something, you want to just throw the ball in there and kind of swish through. That'd be kind of fun. To at least have it be like dual purpose,
You're gonna lose.
Swishes in there.
Forgive the expression. You're gonna lose a lot of balls that way. I think.
Oh, I know.
Your balls are gonna be all over the table. I mean,
well, I'm just saying from a few inches away, not across the room.
Michael, don't you hate it when your balls are all over the table?
Oh yeah, that's my one pet peeve and my one thing that I need to correct in my life.
All right, we've completely degraded into some craziness. Oh my goodness! And because of that, speaking moistly, thank you for the $10 super chat, my friend. I really appreciate it. With the thing with sports legends like Jordan, they are not just sports legends; they are cultural legends, like you said, Jay. They are superheroes. Yes, these are real life superheroes. They do wonderful work outside of their, of their basketball careers. They've touched lives. They've gone and done charity work. Many of them have gone on to do great things. And some of them have even made strides to help humanity at certain levels. So you know what, my hat is obviously off to each and every one of the people who make the difference in daily lives outside of what they've done, throughout their careers. All right. Guys, we've been streaming for quite some time, and I really appreciate everybody being here tonight. I want to thank my special guests, Toy Habits, for being here. You guys are the best. Definitely give toyhabits.com a look. You will not regret it. And if you want to be up to date on everything toy related, definitely subscribe to each and every one of their social media channels on toyhabits.com. You guys are on Instagram and on Twitter, or is it just Instagram?
It's just Instagram right now.
Yep. And definitely when they it's coming up and down these days, but their YouTube channel is definitely a great resource for toy news that's been happening lately. You know what? Let's just get it out there, guys. Are you scaling back on the YouTube channel? Like how's it going with it?
Yeah, so I can address that one. So yeah, I think I've seen a lot of comments in the chat asking about the YouTube videos, and just to be honest, I love doing it, but it's just kind of burning me out a little bit, and so it is a lot of work, and so taking a break. And so I'm not sure what the future holds for the channel, but definitely need just a break from creating a YouTube content. So apologies for the sudden drop in the velocity of things that we're producing out there. But that said, we are keeping all the news flowing on the website, and actually found that it's actually a lot easier to keep the news flowing there than it is on YouTube. So yeah, if you're hungry for the same type of news, just come to the website and you'll get it there.
And of course, Toy Sorceress and Michael are up to date in everything news, but definitely check out their other channels, like I said, Toy Habits on their website, and of course on Instagram. And you know what? They're always welcome here, guys. Never hesitate to keep us up to date here. You guys will see them as guests every so often. And you know what? You never know. The channel's taking a break doesn't mean that it's over. It just means that it's something that is gonna take a little bit of a small break, but you never know. Something will definitely come out. Thank you guys again for being here. On that note, though, definitely, guys, how can everybody find you? Just as a matter of just to bring that point.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so you can find us at Toy Habits website on Instagram, and our DMs are always open, so please message us whenever. Like, I love meeting new people and just engaging in conversation. So yeah, definitely you can find us there, and Toy Sorceress.
And also make sure to go to toyhabits.com to keep up to date with all the toy news, reviews, and great shop pages to help you guys complete your toy collections. Check them out, because we have links for all the hidden figures, like things that you can't find yet. Go to our shop pages and you'll be able to go ahead and complete your collection. Those are a great resource, as well as we do really great reviews if you want to see amazing up close photos of the latest figures, or just get some insight and some fun toy photography. Check out the reviews on there too. And we're totally always trying to keep as much as we can up to date with all the breaking news. So go to toyhabits.com.
Absolutely. And guys, it can't be, it does have to be said. We are going to miss the YouTube channel, and of course Michael and Larry doing their updates on nearly a regular daily basis. But at the end of the day, it's not going away. Toyhabits.com is always going to bring breaking news every single day, and do not miss out on their Instagram page. It's another wonderful resource, and definitely get in touch with both Michael and of course the Toy Sorceress. They always are happy to talk to everybody, and of course the tips. Keep those tips coming in, guys, because we can always use those. Look who's here, guys. Chaz the Guru is in the house. I think that most people would collect these. The people who collect these are the people that collect in general. With all the price inflation and other lines, adding $50 to a price figure in your line could collect adding a $50 per figure line to your collection is a big ask. Chaz, you are always giving us great little memes to bring home those points. It's interesting where that's ended up. Guys, what do you think of that statement?
Yeah, I think
Sure,
it's
Michael.
definitely a big ask for to shell out $50 for another figure, and I think especially if we're comparing the figures to other lines that we bought, then yeah, I think it's a big ask. But at $30, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, $30 is getting a little bit more reasonable, especially with all the licenses that you're paying for, and being an NBA product, maybe you expect that to cost a little bit more, and that helps get it closer to that price point of other comparable action figures. So I think they're getting close, and I think it'll bring some more people to the line.
Absolutely. Ryan Dole has made an appearance. Oh no, I'm too late. Good to see you, Ryan.
Oh,
Thanks for dropping by. Always good to see Ryan Dole in the house. 19JJ says breaks are okay. Looking forward to new stuff when you're ready. Completely sub to you guys on IG. Awesome stuff. Joseph K says their website Toy Habits is a great resource for news. Neil Hill says you're missed, Michael and Larry. Of course, Unicorns Left Nut. Hope it comes back. Joseph K says, "Thanks for clearing this up, Michael." And Speaking Moistly says, "Toy Habits are amazing." 19JJ says, "Already subbed. Love your content." And Speaking Moistly says, "I'm sad I haven't dunked in over 20 years, dude. Don't hurt yourself. Seriously, do not. That's not a good thing. Do not hurt yourself, my friend. You ever see that show, Pros versus Joes? Not a good, not a good thing to stretch out those legs too fast, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. Neil says, "Have a great night, y'all." Thank you, Neil. Nelson, King Panther. I have a bad habit with toy habits addiction. There you go, brother. There you go. Emperor Shao Kahn says, "Hey there, Jay." Hey, Emperor Shao Kahn. And Ryan Dole, thank you, Ryan. Hit that like button, everybody. Absolutely, guys. Definitely check out yes, have some, and Ryan Dole and the Batcave and all those great those guys over at the
yep.
yes, have some community, wonderful guys. Of course, Ryan Dole himself is a great Canadian, wonderful spokesperson for Canada. So definitely head over there. Love the content those guys make. Guys, thank you again so much for being here tonight. It's been an absolute blast. I'm sorry we couldn't get to everybody's comments. Thank you to everybody who sent in a super chat, especially our good friend Red Foreman. My God, Red, thank you so much. You've been an absolute boss tonight. But that doesn't exclude anybody else who sent in a super chat. I just can't go that far back. But thank you guys so much for that. Guys, last comments. What are your last thoughts on this? Are we going to see some? Is it possible to see some reduced pricing on other lines? What does this mean in general for starting lineup? Take it away, guys. Let us know what your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, final thoughts. I think this is a special case for starting lineup, and although I would love to see price drops on other lines, I don't think we might see them as drastically as starting lineup. And I actually hope that they are successful enough that they actually produce football and baseball lines. I would actually buy a couple of the baseball figures, but hopefully this will mean that they will keep prices consistent and just not kind of keep eking up the price $1 here, 50 cents there, and we're in a situation where they're costing as much as a Super 7 figure.
Yeah, I think this is a good sign that Hasbro is kind of listening to the consumers, that they weren't really selling at the $50 price point, and that they realized that they had to scale it back and make it more palatable to people to get into the line. And kudos for Hasbro for making that adjustment. And that just tells us, as Jay always says at the end of all his episodes, we have the power. So we as a consumer, we have the power, and we can move mountains when need be. So hopefully this is showing that if Hasbro is wrong, that we can help course correct them in terms of our buying power.
I totally agree with everything both of you said. One thing that Toy Sorceress has brought up is that my catchphrase at the end, "We have the power," is actually lifted off of the movie, the Secret of the Stone. But on that note, yes, we do have the power as consumers. We do have the power as toy collectors. That was never so much apparent than it was during the Sky Striker. The Sky Striker is case proof positive that when a company does see blood, see some trouble, they do course correct. And Cobra Commander took over GI Joe that day, and made things happen. And good on him, because the Sky Striker is in everybody's hands now, for better or for worse. It is, and even the Rancor, we saw some course correction there. It was too little, too late, but it did happen.
Yeah.
So yes, we do have the power as consumer guys. Do not think we don't. This is another indication that they're trying to do something. I'm hoping that it ripples across the entire lines of figures that all of their product lines. I'm hoping that Star Wars will somewhat. I like to call it normalize, because again, we've had here in Canada. We've had 4 price hikes in 2 years, and I'm hoping that trend will normalize. And maybe I'm not expecting miracles, but I would like to see it stop. I would like to see everything stop. That's basically what I'm hoping for. And in some cases, I would like to see a small retraction. That would be excellent. But we can only move mountains as long as we keep, the news is a very big part of this, and definitely subscribe to Toy Habits on Instagram. Definitely follow them on toyhabits.com, because they are always up to date with all these things and try to deliver unbiased and unfiltered news to everybody out there to make your own informed decisions about the buying decisions that you make. And it really is important at this time, especially in a time where you cannot see what you're buying. Dear God, and that you need to be able to get these reviews and need to be able to get these things as it is incredibly important. And it's thanks to Toy Habits and other YouTube channels like Geek Dad Life and Pixel Dan, Toy Connections, everybody out there who can help to deliver the news and these reviews to give us more informed and keep us all engaged as to what we are buying. So guys, definitely subscribe to your favorite YouTuber, subscribe to your favorite news resource, because they are invaluable, especially now during this time of your dollar really does need to stretch as far as it can in this type of climate. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. I want to thank my very special guests once again, Toy Habits, Michael, and Toy Sorceress. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for being here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, Jay.
You guys are always welcome. I hope you guys will definitely come back, and I hope that the YouTube channel will bounce back. That's my personal hope. But again, always can grab some news on the website and of course on Instagram. Guys, thank you again for being here. This is the highlight of my weekend, being able to spend some time with you guys. You guys are the best. One last time, I want to thank my my Patreon supporters on Patreon who helped make this channel what it is. And of course, I've lost my slide. That tends to happen. I'm not going to go through the names, unfortunately, this time, because there are just too many. But thank you guys again. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel, please consider checking out my Patreon page. It's Mega J Retro on Patreon. You can also become a channel member by just clicking the channel member on the YouTube page. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. It's been an absolute blast. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. Last 2 comments before we log off tonight. Wolverine Ortiz says, love seeing you, the collaborations with you and other collectors and YouTubers. Thank you, Wolverine. You are amazing. Raymond, dude, good to see you, brother. Great stream, guys. Thank you, Raymond. Really good to see you, my friend. Guys, I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. We have the power, everybody. We have the power. Good evening, everybody. Good journey. Geek proud.